Building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Negotiating peace, Gianna Gelosi. Fox News Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying that ending Russia's war in Ukraine will require concessions from all sides after leading a U.S. delegation to meet with Russian counterparts in Saudi Arabia, saying this after the talks.
I came away today convinced that they are willing to begin to engage in a serious process to determine how and how quickly and through what mechanism can an end be brought to this war.
But as Fox's Alex Hogan reports,
Russia is doubling down on one of its demands, saying it is not enough for NATO not to invite Ukraine into the alliance, but wants the alliance to go one step further, canceling a promise from 2008 that would say that eventually Ukraine could be a part of the group. So far, talks also reportedly involve a three-stage peace plan. It would also potentially call for elections in Ukraine before the signing of a final agreement. Now, while Ukraine is not taking part, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly said in the last week that no deal can be made on its behalf if Ukrainian negotiators are not involved.
An investigation underway in Toronto after a Delta flight from Minnesota carrying 80 people crashed and flipped upside down on the runway.
There's snow on the ground. There were strong wind gusts in the area last night of about 38 miles an hour. And investigators are trying to piece together if that played a role in what happened with this plane crash landing and then rolling belly up on the runway. People described hanging like bats and then getting themselves free from their seatbelts and standing on what is normally the ceiling of the plane. What we know about injuries, 80 people were on board, 18 people injured. The injuries range from minor to serious, but none of them, most importantly, are considered life-threatening.
That's Fox's Nate Boy reporting from Toronto. America's listening to Fox News.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Clouds and light snow and snow flurries around as we go through the afternoon with a steadier light snow developing as we get into the late afternoon and well into the night. Around St. Louis, we're looking at about 3 inches of a dry, powdery snow by Wednesday morning. Wednesday clouds, some light snow and flurries, cold day, 17. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
99 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors for savvy homeowners. Since 1926, they are the only authorized dealer of Overhead Door brand products in the city. Always look for the iconic red ribbon to be sure you're dealing with the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. For same-day garage door repair 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis or schedule online overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Hi, everyone. Brian Kilmeade here with a great announcement, especially everybody here at KFTK. St. Louis, I'm coming to you March 22nd at the factory on stage. You're going to love this unscripted affair. It's going to be patriotic, inspirational, motivational. I'll go through all my books, give you the anecdotes inside Fox. We'll go over the news, the war on history, and the comeback of this guy, Donald Trump. Mark Reardon's going to join me on stage. Maybe some surprises in the lineup. But most of all, I want to see you. BrianKilmeade.com. Click on tickets. March 22nd at the factory.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
Choose from select Superstar Premium, Extreme, or Platinum batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts and get up to a $15 gift card after rebate. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstar batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Upside down. Had anyone slipped out of their seatbelts?
Yeah, I mean, it was mass chaos. I was upside down. The lady next to me was upside down. We kind of let ourselves go and fell to hit the ceiling, which is surreal feeling. And then everybody was just like, get out, get out, get out. We could smell like jet fuel. Even now I smell like jet fuel. And then we just crawled out the back of the airplane.
That was a report, New York Post shared that, of a plane crash survivor from the Toronto crash. We got to specify which crash we're talking about now, because there have been so many of them, and it's kind of wild to see how these events have been unfolding. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Tuesday. I don't like short weeks because they always feel like longer weeks. I don't know. I have not even considered what today feels like. I'm just kind of in a blur. Had a really good weekend, basketball tournament out of town, but if you know, you know, that does not feel like a weekend.
I do know that.
That does not feel like a break.
No.
Not mentally.
It's fun.
Not physically.
But it doesn't feel like you had a weekend.
Yes. So we are happy to be back here on a Tuesday. The weather outside is frightful, but Ryan is so delightful.
Oh, I'm always delightful, though, even when the weather's nice. But I woke up this morning a little surprised. I don't know about you guys.
You know, we have Dave Murray coming on at 1:25 to talk about the weather that's coming in, and I thought we could just cancel him and you could go do it from the roof again.
I am pretty good at that. I can tell you what's happening at the exact moment I'm in it.
Have you seen Mean Girls?
Yeah.
She's like, I have a fifth sense. And she's like, she does weather reports outside in the rain. She's like, there's a 70% chance it's raining.
I don't think I remember any of that.
Oh,
I need to watch that movie again because you
so
love
good.
it and you reference it.
Oh, my gosh, yes. I reference Mean Girls probably 4 times as much as you guys even know.
Like we're missing most of it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There are people out there who are like, okay, she doesn't even go here. But yes, you got to go watch that. So had a great weekend with the basketball team. We were short some players, and so we took the people out. We took the people up who could come, and they competed. We had 8 kids on a basketball team, and we've got broken fingers and people prioritizing their travel sports and being able to compete in a really big tournament here this weekend. And so we went up with what we had, and it was so fun to watch these kids play that hadn't gotten the opportunity. You know, like when you're playing a sport and how many team sports did you play with, like high school or whatever?
In high school, I just golf was the only team I made.
Golf? Did you try out for anything? Did you ever get cut?
Well, I tried a bunch in junior high, and I didn't make the basketball team. And then I just kind of got out of certain sports. So I still played them, but just not with the school.
What about when you were in grade school?
Oh, I played everything in grade school and junior high.
Were you a starter on any of these team sports? Like, where'd you rank?
I would say...
I know what it's like to be the starter. When I was a senior in high school from basketball, I was voted MVP, except for I was not the best player. There was a sophomore who was better than me, but people didn't. I voted for her for MVP. she was better than me. She went on to be a D1 athlete for volleyball. I know what it's like to be like counted on. Like, if you can be in the game, you need to go be in the game. But I also absolutely know, because I went to Edwardsville High School, made the JV teams, was like, good job, Annie, if you got in the game.
Oh, okay. Now, I was a point guard in basketball, so I guess I was a starter in that sense.
It's really nice to be able to put kids in the game and just say go. And there's no, like, if you make a mistake, you're coming out. Like, the opportunity to try, to fail, and to not care. Like, just, do you know you did wrong? Go do it again. I was thinking this weekend on the way home about the Trump administration right now. And once you get to the point where you're on the other side of, like, when you're campaigning, everything's at stake. The whole thing is at stake. And you're at the fork in the road. You're going to go right. You're going to go left. And you can't just jump over from one to the other. Once you've made that commitment, once you've passed that fork in the road. And I keep waiting to see so many of the brand new things that Donald Trump is doing, so many of the innovative, outside of the box, jaw-dropping things that he's suggesting. Has he had any massive failures yet? Anything that he, like, ran out there and said, this is what we're going to do, and it just fell flat on its face? There have been lawsuits towards things, the 14th Amendment thing, but even the New York Times in the last few days has come out and said, well, there is a little gray area here where it questions birthright citizenship for people who are here illegally. Like, there's some space that needs to be clarified, and everybody understands it's paying attention that when Donald Trump puts this birthright citizen, scratched it out thing out there for people to see through that executive order, he knows it's going to be challenged. The point is to get it challenged, to get it to the Supreme Court, likely, to get a ruling on it. So I don't really look at a lawsuit to try to stop something as a failure. I have to think they were anticipating that. Is there anything he's trotted out there right now that's been like, no, what a dumb idea that was?
There would only be two ways that he could have a loss this early, and one would be something that he did that everybody acknowledged, oh, yeah, that didn't work. But I think it's a little too early for that. The other one would be that if he tried something and it legally just got smacked down immediately and everybody understood, yeah, you couldn't do that. And neither one of those things have happened, so no.
Yeah, I think about Joe Biden's efforts on student loans. And that one time where he was like, I'm just doing this, and the Supreme Court was like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, I am.
Yeah, it's amazing.
If we were to see that from the Trump administration, the people on the left would pull their hair out if they had any hair out left to pull.
Right.
Hair left out to pull. Like, there is an apocalyptic meltdown on the left every day, and we aren't even seeing it, because people don't care anymore. And the people who were in the middle of this election cycle who said, Kamala Harris, I can't vote for her. Fine, I'll give Donald Trump a shot. Or I'm just not willing. I can't vote for Kamala, but I'm not going to vote for the scary orange man. They knew when they did that they were doing a little bit of something that might help Donald Trump get elected. And there's some sort of like self-reconciliation of, I'm not going to vote for Kamala, but I can't vote for Donald Trump. It's kind of just like, you're just basically making it okay in your own heart for Donald Trump to get elected. You're really just coming to terms with yourself.
Terms with yourself,
yes.
Yeah.
But he's not He's so prepared this time around. He's not hostile. He actually, every day that goes by when he does something new, when he signs more executive orders, he's so chill about it. It's so different than the first time around. And the more chill he is, the more panicked they are. And I don't know anybody who is just trying to absorb all of the panic from the MSNBCs of the world. People who are watching CNN in large part are watching for Scott Jennings. What the media has so successfully done to Donald Trump up until this point, it's like none of it has any effect on Donald Trump and what he's trying to do anymore at all. And it's really like you got to kind of sit back and watch it and go, wow, this is wild to see him get away with what he's getting away with.
It's Neo at the end of the Matrix. He's just kind of walking through it. He can see what all the attacks. He knows what they are. He's just sort of deflecting things without even really thinking about it anymore.
When did that come out?
99.
I did not watch that when I could understand what was going on. Does it hold up?
Oh yeah, it's
all
still
three.
It's actually in some ways it's better.
Yeah,
not all three.
No,
the first one.
Well,
walk me through it.
So the first movie is about a guy who gets unplugged from the system,
the Matrix, and gets this big awakening, but then finds out actually that he's the one to stop the whole thing really from happening. And there's so many just interesting parallels, not just to our time right now, but to really any time of just being outside of the system, but then going back into it to manipulate it, to change it, to fix it. And then by the end of the movie, like I said, he's no longer affected by it at all. He's completely outside of it, even though he's within it. This is Trump?
I mean, in a sense, that's the way he's acting right now because he's not afraid of anything.
Is that whole story in the first movie?
Yeah.
Then what happens?
Then it goes south.
Then it gets weird.
Are the second and the third not worth the rewatch?
They're interesting because of the amazing fight scenes and the way that they shot them and stuff.
Story?
It's interesting because you could put a bow on it after the first one, but then the second and the third, kind of like the way Star Wars
there is
does.
money to still be made.
Absolutely.
Right. Kind of way Star Wars is. They actually flesh out the story that they led you to believe how it was going to end at the end of the first movie. So I
could just go back and pretend there was one?
Yep.
Just watch the first one.
And
they made a fourth one, which I was very excited about. Came out like
gosh.
year and a half ago, maybe. It was basically just the first movie again.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, that was good. You remember that? Let's do that one again."
Did it make money?
I don't know. I'll look it up, but I don't know.
Is it rated R?
Yeah.
What's it rated R for?
Violence.
Probably violence and a little bit of language.
Is there any nakedness?
No.
Or any of that?
I don't think there's that much to worry about with that movie. There may be something that pops out that I don't remember.
I don't need my kids to see my kids. I'm pretty much talking about my oldest, my 15-year-old boy.
He'll be fine.
I know things, like my daughter can handle some things that are on the rough side of PG-13, I would say. But, you don't want to overexpose her to filth. But there are things like my husband is looking for an opportunity to sit them down so they can watch The Patriot.
Oh, yeah. This is the fun part of being a dad.
Listen to you. Your voice went
a couple octaves lower.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You're like Tim Allen. But I mean, like, that movie is rated R because I've seen it before, but it's been so long, but it's incredibly graphically gory. But my husband's like, it's historical. So he wants to show, and I think he shows that movie. I think he shows that movie in his class, but it's a permission slip required movie and all that type of stuff. But he wants them. He would love to watch that movie specifically with my son. I don't know that my oldest daughter would care for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need to see that. But some of these movies that are rated R from decades ago, I feel like if there is a purpose to it other than, oh, this is just a great story, we're at that place where it's like, do we open the door for that? But the sexy time stuff is out. We're not doing that.
Sure. But honestly, The Matrix, it is so dripping with symbolism about life.
Yeah.
And about being a part of this greater thing and changing it. It is like the life lessons. You don't even have to teach them. You just sit there and watch it and you get it.
Okay, maybe we'll do it.
You should do it. And by the way, just to put a bow on this thing, President Trump's job approval continues to stay extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fending off all these things that are coming at him like in their dust particles. He just blows them off. And everybody, even people who didn't vote for him, are approving of him based on the numbers.
How long can this last?
I don't know. That's a good question.
How long can we... It's like, oh gosh, it's like he's untouchable. And so much of it is Donald Trump's zero fudge brownies given.
Mm-hmm.
You hate it? That means I'm doing it right. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. Elon Musk doing Elon Musk things. I'm always... He's a guy who I'm always kind of like wavering, like, ooh, is he getting a little close to pushing it a little bit too far? And then all of a sudden I'm like, he's funny. Yeah, I'm entertained by it. And I want people like Elon Musk around Donald Trump to throw wacky, wild ideas that our feeble IQs would never come up with. And Donald Trump's like, that's a great idea. And Elon, go home, you're drunk. Like, I trust Donald Trump to look at Elon and be like, nah, good try, get out of here. Or to go, that's brilliant, go do it. And things just get done. The rapid speed with which we are watching America first, people first government take place, which ironically has a lot to do with giving you your tax dollars back as opposed to figuring out ways to add to the tax dollars that are being ripped from your paycheck. Watching the space or the pace and the speed with which Donald Trump is able to be effective, it is like a different reality to go back and think about what we dealt with when Joe Biden was in the presidency.
Yeah, it's a completely different world.
And how scary would it have been if Kamala Harris would have been elected and been this effective in what she was trying to get done?
It's not just America that knows it either. The whole world sees it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's completely accurate. All right, let's talk to Ryan Schmelz when we come back. Our Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent going to hang out with us for here to talk to us about the big, beautiful bill. Is it going to get done? I've heard those rumblings that Tom Homan is running out of funds to do what he needs to do in the border. It's like the border crossing numbers are like in the hundreds. Like you could count that high yourself.
It's like lower than COVID.
It is. It's unbelievable. But he needs to have the resources in order to completely secure the border, and they're going to need to pass a border security bill. They're going to need to pass the tax cut extension or make it permanent. There's so much that needs to be done. It needs to be done on Capitol Hill. Of course, a Republican majority in both houses, but a very razor-thin one in the House. Ryan Schmelz gives us the latest on the Annie Frey Show next.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Todd Sivia is with Sivia Law. You can go to SiviaLaw.com. I want you to remember that he's on the Missouri side and the Illinois side. So if you're looking for someone to have that phone call, just start the conversation. There's no commitment when you call 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. You say, Todd, I heard about you on the Annie Frey Show, thinking about establishing our trust and would like to know how you can help me. And then he'll give you the guidance you need to get that started, to plan a strategy session where you're going to sit down with him and begin that conversation to put your mind at ease. That peace of mind, which is priceless, to make sure your affairs are in order when you sit down with your significant other, your spouse, and you talk about some of these things. It's kind of uncomfortable at first, but when you're done, when you're on the other side, you realize, oh, that was so relieving. I have so much peace now that it's been taken care of, and it's been taken care of by the very best. That's Todd Sivia at Sivia Law. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, online at SiviaLaw.com.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design, because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll love a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesiderd.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Submit your favorite fish fry at 971talk.com/events. We're taking the show on the road every Friday during Lent, and we're looking for suggestions. It's Fish Fry Fridays on The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
I want to kind of give you an update what's on the agenda for this week. First of all, today we go in at 5:30 in the Senate, and we'll confirm Howard Lutnick, and then we'll proceed with the procedural motion to move to executive order, which executive order is when we start doing really nominees. Legislative is when we start doing bills. We have to move from legislative to executive. That's what we'll do today, and then we'll put Kash Patel on the clock, which means we could vote on him really as early as tomorrow if the Democrats want to play nice with us, which I doubt they will. More than likely we'll be voting on him on Thursday morning. And then we'll get a few other noms done to this week too. As we go through the process, I'll make sure I keep you guys updated.
Well, that's Senator Mark Wayne Mullen talking about the Senate schedule this week, and there's still some really key things that need to happen in order for Donald Trump to get his cabinet approved. And Howard Lutnick, I don't know, is that going to be a scandalous one? Who knows? But of course, Kash Patel is the one major prize left for Donald Trump to get across the finish line that I think the Democrats are freaking out about the most. So we go to our friend who is there on the ground at Capitol Hill, the Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent, Ryan Schmelz. And he joins us once again here on the Annie Fry Show. Ryan, welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Always great to be on, Annie. How are you?
I'm doing okay. So we got a little bit of a breakdown there from Senator Mullen from Oklahoma about what the Senate is looking like, the schedule this week. How do you feel about the Howard Lutnick and Kash Patel confirmations? We going to see the thumbs up by the end of the week on both of those?
I think it's trending in that direction. I don't think Howard Lutnick's going to really have too much drama attached to it. It'll probably get every single Republican vote. Maybe a Democrat here or there. We'll see. I mean, you've seen some nominees get upwards of 20 Democrats on board. You've seen others get past the 60 to 70 vote threshold. So we'll see what Lutnick's able to do. I don't really expect this to be one that has a lot of drama attached to it. I think the extent of that drama is going to be a party line vote. Now, on the other hand, you've got Kash Patel. That one's going to be a little bit more interesting, but just the way that things have been trending, it just seems like Kash Patel has done what he needs to do to get across the finish line here. I think we're all once again going to be watching, though, to see what former Republican leader Mitch McConnell does in this situation. He's the only nominee to vote for more than two or against more than two of Donald Trump's nominees so far. He's voted for against three in total. So does he make it four with the Kash Patel nomination?
That's a real. I was going to ask you about Mitch McConnell, even in a broader sense here, about his health, about his presence, about his influence. What is the Mitch McConnell mystique right now in the Senate? Does he have influence on senators? Is he present in these conversations, or is he kind of just showing up and doing his Mitch McConnell thing?
It seems like he's kind of keeping to himself, that he's not trying to put any major pressure on anybody or try to sway them one way or the other. He's always been available for, counsel if they so choose to, but it doesn't seem like he's really swayed anybody away from any particular nominee. And that you see that as an example because there's been multiple times where he's been the only person to vote against a nominee. You saw it happen with Tulsi Gabbard. You saw it happen with RFK Jr. And to think, too, that this is kind of setting up for a very interesting possible showdown down the road. Doge wants to come in and make some changes to the Pentagon and kind of demand more accountability so the Pentagon, whoops, that was my mic, can finally an audit. But here's the thing. Mitch McConnell is the appropriations chair when it comes to military spending. So he could be setting up for an interesting face-off between Doge, Donald Trump, and Mitch McConnell down the road.
I just think it's kind of a shocking thing to observe in the last couple of years. We've watched Mitch McConnell really rule the Senate with an iron fist. He had a very strong command over what was going to happen, what he was able to do going into the 2016 election when he pulled back that Barack Obama nominee for the Supreme Court was a very strong and bold move, and I think it had a lot to do with getting Donald Trump the opportunity to win that nomination in the presidency. And then you go to where he steps down from leadership, but he remains in the Senate. We know that his health is a challenge for him as well. I'm curious, does he explain a lot of his votes, the way he's going, or the things that he's doing when it's a departure from what the majority of the Republicans are doing there in the Senate? Does he talk?
He explains it through statements, but it's very rare that he does any type of media gaggle or media appearance. And it's gotten, I think, a lot less frequent now that he's facing these health issues too. That's kind of one thing we're getting used to with John Thune, is that he is a little bit more of an open book compared to what McConnell was. McConnell's extent of talking to the press was normally the weekly press conference they would have, and he'd probably take, 3 questions on a given day. So that was if we were lucky. There were a couple times when he took a little bit more here and there, but McConnell really wasn't a very vocal figure, maybe vocal behind the scenes, but not somebody who ate up a lot of attention. And so now that he's not in this position of leadership, it's even more of a quiet front on his end. But you do see him put out statements, and he's put out some pretty harsh statements whenever he's voted no against one of President Trump's nominees. Go back to Tulsi Gabbard. You look at Pete Hegseth. exit. And then, of course, you look at RFK Jr., there were some pretty intense statements that he put out, but he's not saying them vocally. He's just doing them on paper.
So we're speaking with Ryan Schmelz. He's in Capitol Hill right now. The cabinet, it looks like it's imminent. The question will be, is it a short amount of time? Do they put up the fight they can, even though at the end it'll probably still result in those confirmations of Donald Trump's nominees? The other huge thing that Americans are watching closely, and we know that the president is urging consistently, is the passage of that big, beautiful bill, maybe two bills. What's the process right now on getting the tax cuts that made permanent in order to get the security funding, all of the things that need to be done right now on the start in the House, working with the Senate? Where's that bill at right now?
We could see some movement from the Senate this week, but their bill is way different in the fact that it does have the same amount of money for border security, national security, as well as energy policy. The pay-fors are relatively similar, where they're going to require respective committees to go find the cuts to offset the any additional spending that's in there. But what's interesting is that the Senate version does not include tax law. On the other hand, the House version does include tax law, so it's vastly more complex than what the Senate one looks like. So on the House side, you've got $4.5 trillion in there for taxes, renewing the Trump taxes, adding no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, the SALT tax deduction, which is big for a lot of blue state Republicans. But it also requires them to have $2 trillion worth of spending cuts. 1.5 is the low number, and then they want to get up to $2 trillion as the goal. But the thing is, if they're not able to find $2 trillion in cuts, then they have to go take provisions away from the tax bill and then use those to offset the difference in savings. So that might set up for a little bit of an issue down the road if they're able to get it across the finish line. But you're already seeing some New York and California, New Jersey Republicans come out and say that they're concerned that there won't be enough SALT deductions involved in this. And then you also have some Republicans putting out warning signs saying that they might vote against this because they're concerned that this could lead to cuts in benefits for people who need it, like Medicaid and Medicare. Donald Trump has been pretty adamant that that's not going to happen, but it's not set in stone, at least according to some of these folks. So I think there's a little bit of a warning sign being flirted with by a number of maybe more moderate-leaning Republicans.
Ryan, this is Ryan, and it's a little early in the process, but how long will this budget last? Are they working on something that will last a year? Is it longer than that? When do they come back and have to do this again?
Right. So this is a budget reconciliation. So this is essentially the reconciliation process is a way for them to skirt the 60 vote threshold in the Senate, get something across that only requires 50 votes. This wouldn't really apply to funding the government in its entirety long term. That process is still being worked out. Right now, you have leadership in Republican and Democrat circles meeting behind closed doors, trying to hash out a top line number that would likely fund the government probably through September is what we're looking at there. But you've got this little back and forth going on where Leader Jeffries, the top Democrat in the House, is accusing Republicans of walking away from negotiations and wanting to go it alone. But then you see some other Republicans like Susan Collins pushing back on that and saying, no, he's misinformed. We actually just met last night. So from what it sounds like, those talks are still ongoing. They haven't reached the top line number. But an interesting aspect of this is that you have a Republican like Warren Davidson from Ohio who came out of the weekly GOP conference meeting last week and said, we're not even talking about the November 14th deadline. So that's kind of a little bit of a concern for some people in this building that this is just not getting the attention that it needs.
Ryan Schmelz speaking with us right now from Capitol Hill. I'm curious about the reactions, your whatever you're picking up there in the hallways about the efforts of DOJ and what they've been able to cut. We've found how many people are getting payments, it seems, on Social Security or whatever that are 150 years old. 4.7, is it trillion? I get the M's, the B's, and the T's mixed up of payments that aren't traceable. I mean, there's so many massive questions that I feel like we always have to be prepared for there to be a logical explanation that just hasn't been pinned down yet. But for the people who are actually overseeing DOJ and overseeing Elon Musk in the Congress there, what are you hearing from people regarding the efforts and the results that they're putting up so far?
Well, Republicans think this is a winning issue. They think that waste, fraud, and abuse is something that they should have been focused on back during the first Trump administration. So they're trying to make up for lost time in many ways. So I think Republicans are pretty unified about this, but I think there is this concern about, is DOJ going to get into benefits? Is that going to become an issue? And then also DOJ is starting to focus on the Pentagon. And there's been at least one Republican who said, be a little mindful when you go to the Pentagon, because we don't want to do anything that might make us less safe or our military less strong. But at the same time, when you consistently fail audits every single year, I think that there is a push by Republicans to start rooting out waste that they can possibly find in the Pentagon. And that's an issue that might get some Democrats on board with, especially progressive Democrats. But I think there might be a little bit of a question going on about the legality of what DOJ is doing, because a lot of it's governed through executive order. I think there is a thought amongst Republicans that they do need to start codifying some of this into law and passing it as legislation, so that it holds up better legally with the Supreme Court, because that's the argument that Democrats are really hitting on. The one thing they've kind of focused on recently with their messaging is going after this firing of inspector generals, where they've pointed out that there has been millions and billions of dollars that the IGs have uncovered over the years that was waste, fraud, and abuse, and is actually an example of waste, fraud, and abuse. And Democrats are arguing that because Donald Trump fired a lot of these IGs, it's going to make it harder to root out waste, fraud, and abuse, and also hold the administration accountable.
Well, Ryan, you gave us the best info. We appreciate you so much for coming to us directly from Capitol Hill, and we look forward to having you back again soon and getting the information directly from the guy who's there talking to the people on Capitol Hill. It's really, really wonderful to have you, Ryan. Thanks for being here with us again.
It's wonderful to be on. Thank you so much, Annie.
Take care. Ryan Schmelz, Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent, our friend there on the ground talking to the people. And it's great to get, you see a lot of stuff on X, I certainly see a lot of stuff from Elon Musk. I mean, if you want to go straight to the source, you can always know what he's thinking about things. And then, of course, you see stuff that people are putting out there on social media, but the Mitch McConnell thing, to me, is maybe a little palace intrigue, but the man is certainly not well. And, he's aged. And he, as we have been talking about lately, he dealt with polio at a young age. He's been publicly unwell multiple times. And now he just, to me, it's like somebody who's, some people are going to go crazy when I say this, that he served the Republican Party so well. And then at the end, it's just like it turns into this bitterness and this self-righteousness thing that it's like you're ruining the whole thing.
Yeah.
John McCain.
It's a strange legacy.
Yeah. Why? Like, what is it? What is it when you spend that much time in government that at the end you just veer so far away from? I just got to think there's some ego thing to it that's like, I just know better. I've been here long enough. I just know what you don't know. And maybe you don't care as much about the politics of it, so you're kind of just putting away the things that you did to smooth stuff over. I know that Mitch McConnell is persona non grata in most Republican circles right now. I don't think that seat's going to go to a Democrat, but I didn't think Sessions' seat would go to a Democrat either in Alabama. Stop running crap candidates, people. Do you remember that campaign? It was like, what's the stupidest thing we could do? All right, great idea. Let's go do that. If Mitch McConnell, he's already said he's not running again, correct? He said he was stepping down from leadership at the time he made the announcement, and then he said that this would be his final term. So he's not gonna run again. There's no way he could run again. Although I assume that if he did run again, he'd probably win.
I see conflicting reports about that some reporters push back and go, oh, well, actually, he hasn't said for sure that he said he's out of leadership.
That's basically like it's probably people on the left, and they're like, I think he crossed his fingers behind his back.
Yeah, it could be.
It was opposite day.
He's taken a lot of heat, too, for all of his support for spending on Ukraine. And I don't know if that is where, yeah, exactly. But I don't know if that's where he kind of said, well, I'm no longer part of MAGA or whatever. I don't know.
The thing about Mitch McConnell, I think the overarching thing that kind of envelops exactly what you're talking about is it just seems like Mitch McConnell thinks Mitch McConnell knows best, regardless of anything. If the people are saying one thing and he disagrees, he's 100% going with Mitch McConnell every time.
Yeah.
And that doesn't.
And sometimes that's been great.
Sometimes.
And other times it's been foolish.
If you're talking about senatorial procedure things, because he was a master at understanding how to utilize the rules and the system to his own benefit. Just like the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi's an expert at this too. And I think a lot of us look at Republicans and say, take notes and do the thing. It's a difficult road to navigate because you hate it when the Democrats do it, and you want the Republicans to do it when they have the chance to. But there's this unfortunate thing in the middle called principle, and you have to ask yourself where you stand on those things. And sometimes I think Mitch McConnell was willing to do the very, very publicly unpopular thing where the Democrats could throw it all at him, but he knew procedurally. And I go back to the Merrick Garland. Good God, that man could have been on the Supreme Court. He could have been on the Supreme Court. And Mitch McConnell is the one who kept that from happening. And because people are like, do I want Hillary Clinton to pick the Supreme Court nominee or do I want Donald Trump to pick the Supreme Court nominee? They thought that, I don't know, Donald Trump could have picked Hulk Hogan to be a Supreme Court nominee as far as everyone was concerned in 2016. But you knew what you got with Hillary, and everybody was like, don't want that. So they gave Donald Trump a chance, and I think you could go back and listen to the tapes in 2016. I didn't like Donald Trump for the obvious reasons why people didn't like him. In the field of Republicans, he was maybe close to my last pick. Fruit Ninja Kasich was my last pick. But I was so wrong about it. And I'm going to say it. I think God said, all right, everybody sit down. You're going to watch this. And we learned.
We're still watching it.
Yes. And Mitch McConnell helped set all of this in motion, which is just kind of ironic because I think Mitch McConnell hates Donald Trump. So.
I know, but his legacy on the Supreme Court, because it's not just Merrick Garland, it's not just Gorsuch. Mm-hmm. It's also the other end of that term with Amy Coney Barrett, because he said yes to that.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to do Wiggins America. It's the Tuesday roundup because it's not Monday, and is this an easy segment for you to do, this installation?
I wouldn't say I'd actually say that there's more that's put into this one than many of the others.
I want to acknowledge your efforts.
Thank you very much.
Tuesday roundup and Wiggins America next. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
STS Armory in Pontoon Beach with their brand new facility. Why haven't you gone yet? I think some of you have, I know. But I want you to check it out. I want you to go to tell Katie and Jesse hello for me and see what they have literally in store. If you want to go online, you can do that as well. STS-armory.com. STS-armory.com, and look on their website to learn about the different types of things that they carry. Of course, if you're looking for firearms, yes, they've got them. If you're looking for your next hunting rifle, whatever the rules and the regulations are in the state of Illinois, they are at the forefront of that. They understand exactly what's going on. They are watching every court case that's taking place, and they're like one of the first to know about whatever court case means. Katie and Jesse are experts at making sure that your Second Amendment is utilized to the fullest when it comes to being in the state of Illinois. They're located in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. They have classes available for you. Your renewal for your conceal and carry class, STS Armory. Your new conceal and carry class, STS Armory. Introduction to firearms, they can help you with that as well. Find them in Pontoon Beach, Illinois at their new location or online at sts-armory.com.
The colder weather is a great excuse to practice your Second Amendment skills inside at the Range St. Louis West. Mark Cox here from my friends at the Range, 14803 Manchester Road out in Baldwin. I told you they have the best training in town. February 19th, the Range is co-hosting a women's self-defense workshop at the West County Gracie Barra location. You can get the details on all these events and how to sign up on their website. It's therangestl.com or follow them on Facebook.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, what's the deal with all the plane crashes? And I did not mean to read that like Seinfeld. It just came out that way.
He's got a Seinfeld video today, too. Say it again like him.
Okay, what's the deal with all the plane crashes?
That's not like Seinfeld.
Oh, what's the deal with the plane crashes?
And the peanuts.
That's more airline humor. And that's not even
anymore.
intended to be humor, I promise. Accidents, negligence, malfeasance,
Are you
or
talking
it's
about this Wiggins
Trump
America?
and Musk's fault. Let's go ahead and say that last one for Wiggins America. This is the poll today. Find it by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. 12:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk presents Talk in Action, where we shine a spotlight on local charities making a difference in our community. Join us as we give back and connect neighbors in need. Visit 971talk.com/talkinaction to learn more.
Let's go, girls. Come on. I'm going out tonight. I'm feeling alright. Gonna let it all hang out. Wanna make some noise.
Wiggins. Monday round. This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Tuesday afternoon, Monday roundup. That's how that works.
See,
I get it.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
So
you know, when you produce things for a radio show and it sounds really good, some people just like let it slide and be like, that's just what we do.
Not me.
Ryan's like, did you see what I did there?
Did you see him looking around the room?
Yeah, he's
like,
looking for
while
affirmation.
it was playing. He
I
was
told
looking
you.
for all of our reactions.
It's like when you potty train a toddler and they do a poopy in the potty and they come out with a big smile on their face and they want their M&M.
It's almost exactly like that. I still do that.
I'll give you your M&M later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would like at least a little pack of them. I'm an adult.
I know there's a conflict here.
You want people to react like you're a child, but you want an adult reward.
When I come out of the bathroom, I want more payoff.
Okay.
All right. Here are stories that you missed over the weekend, the long weekend, because it's Tuesday.
I need a break.
The first one is a Aussie. That's what you call Australians,
Yeah.
right? Aussie.
They're my people.
So an
25%.
Aussie has gone viral for sharing a loophole in self-checkout. Well, they call it.
I'm gonna interject here real quick and say I'm pretty sure it's not a loophole. It's probably stealing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And that's why I found this one very, very interesting, because according to him, the self-checkout scales aren't sensitive enough to accurately measure really light things. So what he's done is
He measures like his tomatoes individually.
yes.
Oh my gosh, that's stealing.
He's measuring like little chilies one by one, and you still pay for them because they're just measuring downward.
But you're paying
But
less.
if you were to put the whole thing on at once, it would be a lot more.
How did he figure that out?
I think probably trial and error.
How many? What does he need all these chilies for?
I'm not sure. But you're right. Like if you're buying little things, you could weigh them one by one.
I'm going to tell you that if you're doing that intentionally to pay less, that's theft.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was asking do you think that this is
theft,
couth or uncouth?
It sounds like something you do, and I think it should be illegal.
This sounds like the Ryan KFC cup thing where it's like, what if I come back up here and then go back downstairs and refill it?
Yeah, Ryan got his refillable cup, which is just a cup he got with his Valley meal, and you'd use it for weeks and weeks.
No, I would not. I would use it for a day. I'd maybe go back down later in the day. But don't people do this at gas stations all the time? You just buy a cup.
Yeah, if they're stealing.
You go throughout the day.
They have the cups that you buy that are
Right.
like, that's the deal that you buy when you get that cup.
Does
not
it-
the
does it
styrofoam
say-
cups that you pull out of the...
Does it say that? Does it say you can only use this while in the store?
I don't think
you can only
it
get a
has
free
to say
refill
it.
while you're here standing drinking in the store?
Yes, that's what it means.
I'm on your side, Ryan.
Thank you.
Ethan, stop it.
Thank you.
At least with that one.
Thank you. Nobody else.
I'm still processed. The gas station one, I'm totally on his side.
See?
I'm a little bit.
So
still.
you buy a 32-ounce styrofoam cup from Quick Trip, and you fill it with your soda
Sure.
of choice. And how many times are you coming back? You're leaving Quick Trip, and you're coming back. How many times are you doing that and filling it up again?
I'm saying I have no issues with doing that in like that day a couple of times. I don't think there's anything wrong with going and filling up something you probably overpaid for in the first
You didn't
place.
overpay for it. The price is the price. You agree on the price when you make the purchase.
You choose to pay for it, and I don't have any problem with paying even $1.50 for a drink.
Now,
but
if you go in
if it
there
says
and you
free
say,
refills,
if you walk into that Quick Trip or whatever, and you're like, "Hey, I just bought this earlier this afternoon. Do you care if I get another refill?" And they say, "Yeah, go ahead." Then you're golden.
that's good to know. Ethan, final point?
I still stand by my case.
Okay.
How do you just fill
And
it
the
up
whip
and
has
walk
spoken.
out?
No, that's it. Conversation's done. The whip is done.
You run.
Have you ever walked into a gas
go,
station,
go.
gotten a drink, and they go, just go?
Yeah.
I've had that happen
Yeah,
several
I have.
times
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? You
they
don't
don't
want
care.
anything?
What's-
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
a
That's
big,
my
long
point.
line
I
or
went
something,
into. I'm not even going to specify because people might trace back to these folks. I went into an auto parts store, and I needed to replace the headlamp in the front headlight, and I was going to buy new windshield wipers, and I always say to I don't know if people get mad at this. I always say to my husband, like, do you want to do this, or do you just want me to go in and act like a dumb woman and have them do it themselves? He's like, go do that. So I go into AutoZone, and I'm like, oh, I'm really
Like you're
distressed.
fainting.
I'm in distress.
My headlights out. I'm so scared to drive at night. And they're like, oh man,
What even are brakes?
And so it's not that dramatic, but it's maybe close. And they're very happy to fix it. Young men who go out and take care of it, no problem. So I told my oldest two kids I needed new windshield wipers, and I said, go find the windshield wipers we need for the car. And they're like, I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, figure it out. Because they've got the big like phone book like things in there and maybe a couple computer systems. I'm like, just imagine that you didn't have help. Go figure it out. And they stood there for like 10 minutes and didn't figure it out. Finally, the associate helps him. My son's walking this, and I go, oh, I guess we need to pay you for these. And the guy goes, you could walk out. We're not even allowed to stop you. I'd pretty much encourage you to just do it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I was
Wow.
like, whoa. He goes, yeah, it's pretty stupid. But if you walk out of here, we're not supposed to do anything.
He told you too much.
Yes. They're just two probably
He was
college-age
basically
guys.
like, look, here's the rules and what you can get away with. Why
Yeah.
don't you go ahead and try that?
He goes, we're not
That's
supposed
crazy.
to say anything to you. We're not supposed to stop you. We're just supposed to let you go. I'm like,
Wow.
well, I would like to pay for them.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, to my son, I'm like, earmuffs. Anywho, whip.
Your son's like, hey, look at that cool rim over there. I'm going to take that.
He definitely was not like that.
All right. Doge impersonators storm San Francisco City Hall demanding sensitive documents. These are a bunch of people. There's 3 guys who came in saying they represented Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency and demanded that City Hall at San Francisco hand over a bunch of documents related to alleged wasteful government spending and fraud. They have not been found. Nobody knows who these guys are, but they were impersonating, which just goes to show that not all who are Doge are Doge.
What if it actually was Elon Musk?
I think it's funny that we now have people, imposters, who are like, we want government data. Protesting is even better in Donald Trump's America.
Yeah, and nobody knows really if they were actually trying to get the documents or if they were trying to prove a point. They were trying to, say,
And
look
they
how easily.
didn't get anything?
They didn't get anything.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you.
If you're going to try to get that, don't go to San Francisco. Go to Louisiana or
Yeah,
something.
which makes you think
Or
maybe
Missouri.
that they were trying to be like, look how dumb these guys are and prove a point. But they were not of Doge. They were of the Synagogue of Satan. Real quick, after 44 years, Donkey Kong player discovers that the legendary kill screen isn't really the end. 44 years, and somebody finally beat the kill screen on the original Donkey Kong.
What does that mean?
So you would get super far in the game. I think it's level 22. And then the game would just malfunction and stop after like 11 seconds. Well, somebody figured out how to beat that level in 11 seconds, and they unlocked 5 new levels that nobody knew existed.
Did Donkey Kong people know that was the case?
No. Well, they knew the kill screen was there. They didn't know they thought there's no way you could beat the kill screen.
They just thought it was an error.
They thought it was that glitch was the end of the game.
That's awesome.
It is pretty cool.
I'm glad we know that. Jim Carafano and Dave Murray. Next, don't go away.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The process of peace. I'm Therese Crowley, Fox News. Russia and U.S. negotiators in Saudi Arabia agree on a process to settle the war in Ukraine. President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff.
Everybody there to get to the right outcome, solution-based. We discussed it afterwards. We couldn't have imagined a better result after this session. It was very, very solid.
The U.S. team led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who says an end to the Ukraine conflict must be acceptable to all involved. Russia Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov saying both sides are committed to finding solutions.
I have reason to believe that the American side has become more understanding of our position, which we have once again presented in detail and with specific examples on the basis of President Putin's multiple statements.
Rubio says the process will begin by restoring U.S. and Russian diplomatic missions, while National Security Advisor Mike Waltz says President Trump's bottom line is the war must end, calling it a meat grinder of people. Poland's president says he's received assurances the U.S. will not reduce troop presence in Poland or elsewhere along NATO's eastern flank. Trump administration has not announced any plans to pull forces from the region, but has said Europe must step up further. Canada's Transportation Safety Board is looking into what happened when a Delta flight from Minnesota landed hard at Toronto's Pearson Airport, flipped, broke off a wing. All 80 aboard survived. Pearson Airport President and CEO Deborah Flint said the crew made the miracle possible.
We have taken great time and care to extend care to each of the passengers that were here after the accident. That includes comfort as well as support in their emotional well-being.
Of the 21 people injured, 2 passengers are still being treated at a hospital, the flight coming from Minneapolis. America's listening to Fox News.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Clouds and light snow and snow flurries around as we go through the afternoon, with a steadier light snow developing as we get into the late afternoon and well into the night. Around St. Louis, we're looking at about 3 inches of a dry, powdery snow by Wednesday morning. Wednesday clouds, some light snow and flurries, cold day, 17. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose, paid for by Bayer.
RulerFoods.com. If you're shopping for groceries and you're looking to save a penny, I'm looking to save dimes and quarters and, dollars. Ruler Foods is where we can go and do that. We can feed our family of 6 for less when we shop at Ruler Foods, and we do not sacrifice quality at all. I've talked about the fresh produce that they have at Ruler Foods. So when you walk into Ruler Foods, you can put your quarter in, you're going to get your cart, you're going to go into the store, you're going to be impressed with the layout. It's a very sensible place to shop, but my husband goes in there and he buys avocados and makes the best guacamole, and we never have to sacrifice quality on produce, on the frozen foods that we buy, the meat that we buy there. With his new smoker, he is always looking for great deals, and Ruler Foods always has them. I want to tell you right now, the Kroger 73% lean ground beef, which is sold in a 3-pound roll, just $3.33 a pound. You can also buy that fresh produce, red or green seedless grapes. We go through them like crazy at our house. $1.99 a pound. Strawberries, 1-pound package, $2.49 each. Save at Ruler Foods. You can schedule a delivery even when you find the Ruler Foods closest to you at rulerfoods.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551. 800-656-1551.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Their parent gave everything for our nation, but when support fades, who stands with them? Join the precious legacy at Rhythm and Brews Fest on March 8th in St. Charles. Learn more at 971talk.com/talkinaction.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This for 3.5 years while this conflict has raged, or 3 years while it's raged, no one else has been able to bring something together like what we saw today, because Donald Trump is the only leader in the world that can. So no one is being sidelined here. But President Trump is in a position that he campaigned on to initiate a process that could bring about an end to this conflict. And from that could emerge some very positive things for the United States, for Europe, for Ukraine, for the world. But first it begins by the end of this conflict. And so the only thing President Trump's trying to do is bring about peace. It's what he campaigned on. It's something the world should be thanking President Trump for doing. He's been able to achieve what for 2.5, 3 years, no one else has been able to achieve, which is to begin this process, a serious process. Obviously, a lot of work remains before we have a result.
So,
but President Trump's the only one that can do it.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio talking about the Trump administration's efforts in bringing peace to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We watched Joe Biden and his 4 years of the administration, at least the part where this conflict was taking place, make the full commitment to never stop sending money that way. But you didn't really hear a lot about forceful, peaceful initiations, the goal to actually stop the war. It seemed like the goal was to fund the Ukraine side of the war, and it looks like a different there's a change of wind here in what's taking place in this tumultuous part of the world. Let's talk to our friend Jim Carafano about it, the senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks, sir. Thanks for having me.
Of course. When you were watching the Trump administration navigate the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and we knew during the campaign, Donald Trump said very boastfully he could get this war done and over with very quickly. Is he making good on that promise in the negotiations he's engaging in right now?
Well, he said he can end the war in 24 hours, and the reality is he could have if Putin had said yes. Putin did not say yes. But the reality is when the war ends, Putin will get exactly what he could have gotten if he had said yes in the first 24 hours. Look, I've only been watching people deal with the Russians for 50 years, so really, what do I know? But because the Russians are very predictable negotiators. First of all, the Russians will always start out by asking for everything, because their goal is to always get everything at the negotiating table that they can't win on the battlefield. And the Russians like to understand their adversaries. When their adversaries are willing to give them something for nothing, the Russians know they have a patsy and they ask for more. So we shouldn't be surprised that the Russian position coming out of the box was, well, we want everything. And they're likely going to get nothing, get absolutely nothing. The United States and no one should give the Russians any single thing at the negotiating table that they don't own on the battlefield. Acknowledging that what the Russians have done on the battlefield and that nobody's willing to underwrite their complete and utter defeat, that's just acknowledging reality. Having said that, making concessions to the Russians is a huge mistake. That only invites more conflict in the future. I think the administration gets that. After all, they live with these guys for 4 years. They know how to negotiate that. People forget that Donald Trump is probably one of the most experienced leaders on the world stage today. He was president for 4 years. He probably knows more world leaders than anybody else. He spent 4 years preparing for this job. This is not this, guy from New York that does real estate, walking into this negotiation. This is one of the world's most experienced and, quite honestly, one of the most talented leaders and the head of the most powerful country on earth, and at the current time, one of the most popular presidents that the United States has ever had. This is a guy going into the game, and there are 52 cards in the deck, and he's got 52, and the other guy's holding a joker.
No, that's very well put. Jim Carafano with us right now. I think that the people like me who are listening to experts like you try to make sense of what's going on over there and questioning what the American responsibility and involvement needs to be in this conflict. I just very simply put, Jim, I want to know who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. And I'm asking you to tell me, in this conflict between Russia and Ukraine, Putin and Zelensky, is there a good guy and a bad guy?
Well, absolutely. This is not even up for discussion. The Russians invaded a country without pretext, without anything other than the thought of naked aggression. There is no moral equivalency here. And, when people say, well, the U.S. is going to be, neutral, they're going to be tough on both sides, that's nonsense. First of all, the Ukrainians are already all in. The Ukrainians want exactly what the United States wants. They're realistic. They want a ceasefire. They want the fighting to stop. There is no argument between them and Donald Trump on anything. There's only one party here, which is the Russians. And the only thing, it only gets worse for the Russians. The only hope that they have is that they hold out and the West falls apart, or the United States gets bored and walks away. And I can tell you, that's not going to happen. And you know why it's not going to happen? Because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not going to walk into a negotiation and saying, I just don't want a deal. I want a deal that's good, that defends my interests. And then the other guy says, no, you can't have that. And then Donald Trump says, oh, okay, forget it. I'll just leave and get nothing. I don't care. I mean, come on.
Jim, we got a commenter here who wants to know, like, what kind of say does Ukraine have in these negotiations? Russia obviously invading Ukraine, the United States coming in with Donald Trump now over Joe Biden. That's a very different negotiating situation. Right. What's Ukraine's role and responsibility here?
Well, I think I think Ukraine and the United States are already of one mind on this conflict. Of course, the Ukrainian president says there's no deal without me, and I'm not going to sign up for anything until I see the thing. But essentially, Ukraine already knows what the U.S. position is. We want a ceasefire. We want the fighting to stop. We want to save as many Ukrainians as possible. We are not going to demand for all of the return of Ukrainian land. The Russians aren't going to give it all back. Now, the Russians own you some Ukrainian land. The Ukrainians own some Russian land. They might want to trade some of that with each other. We don't care. The Ukrainians already know this, and the Ukrainians know that the United States wants to invest in the country after the war. That we're going to continue to support NATO. So anything you hear from the Ukrainians, which says, well, we want to say and everything, that's for domestic consumption or reassure people. It's not speaking to the United States. They already know the United States really has their back on this. And I know people say, like, well, why do we care? Well, the same people who say, why do we care, voted for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump says we are better off with a free and independent Ukraine that's not controlled by Russia. And the reason why he says that's for one very simple reason, not because of money laundering, but because it's in U.S. interests that Russia be stopped. Because that makes our job in Europe easier. It makes our allies' job easier. It allows us to focus more resources on China. There's no scenario where the United States is better off with the Ukraine that's conquered by the Russians. Trump's just a realist. He doesn't want to see innocent Ukrainians die. Of course, he'd like to see a free and independent country. But in the end, Donald Trump is going to do exactly what he said. I'm going to put America's interests first. And it's in America's interest that there be free and independent Ukraine. Arguably, to be honest, we'd probably be better off if we just let the Russians die forever, because the longer they fought, the weaker they get, and the less of a problem they are for us. This isn't about honestly, Trump is actually doing something by trying to stop the war and putting his own credibility on the line as president of the United States, because he said, I'm going to end this. So he is putting his word, the United States of America, on the line here. That's to save innocent Ukrainian lives. And I wish people were just more appreciative of that.
That's a great perspective. Here with Jim Carafano, the foreign policy expert we speak to each week from the Heritage Foundation. You talked about, obviously Donald Trump's in for what's best for the United States, but you've also mentioned the allies. Donald Trump is maybe sort of icing out some of the European countries who want to be involved in these Ukraine talks. Emmanuel Macron hosts this emergency meeting of European leaders yesterday to discuss whatever the plan might be with this war. What do you make of Donald Trump's decision and the reaction of these leaders out of Europe who feel a little bit left out now in these negotiation processes?
Yeah, well, look, they're just a bunch of yahoos. First of all, look, you can't have a meeting with 87 people at the table who don't have 87 equal parts in this fight. Like, Luxembourg is going to have a seat at the table? I mean, really? And their opinion is going to carry? That actually dilutes the strength of the negotiating position. So meeting with these actors individually actually strengthens the U.S.'s role. And if you actually look at this emergency meeting that Macron called in Paris, did they talk at all about the things that J.D. Vance talked about? Like, what are you doing about your democracy? No. Basically, they got together and they said a bunch of things which are actually reaffirming of exactly what Donald Trump wants. He wants a stronger Europe. So the Macron meeting actually only strengthened the U.S. negotiating position against the Russians, because the Europeans say they're going to pony up more for their own defense and pony up more to spend Ukraine, which is, by the way, exactly what President Trump wants. So J.D. Vance went to Berlin and scolded these guys, and then they, run and made a meeting and basically said, we support Donald Trump. That's what happened.
Jim Carafano speaking with us right now. Kind of to wrap this up, we've got what's going on in Russia, Ukraine, which is a geographically much closer situation for a lot of these European countries, of course. But we've seen some effects, some conservative, politically conservative movement in Europe, certainly in Italy with Meloni. Is there a Trump effect happening politically in other countries right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's like, Trump is like Red Bull, right? So it's these guys have already been drinking coffee all morning, and then somebody handed them a Red Bull. So there has been a European conservative movement that's rising in Europe and in Canada, by the way, and also in Latin America. Trump has just added a lot of Red Bull to that because people like him and Meloni and Modi and Milei have demonstrated both success at the ballot box, but also success on the ground. And so what conservatives and populists can do is they could stand up and say, look, it's not just that we say we have a different way of doing things, but look, the people that are following the agenda that we're promoting, they're winning, they're successful. Part of the reason why you saw this incredibly negative feedback on Vance's speech is you were talking to all the wrong people. So European elites are, their hair's on fire. And of course, in America, we're just listening to this and we're going, oh, the Europeans hate us. But what we actually never did was talk to Europeans. I have a network of hundreds of European conservatives. And, when I emailed them about the speech, all the emails I got back were positive. I mean, like one was like maybe, 80, 70, 30, positive. I didn't like this. But overwhelmingly, European conservatives said, oh, my God, this is exactly what we have said if we had a chance to yell at those yahoos in here.
And really, what is the heart of whatever that Trump or populist effect might be that other countries find so attractive? Social, economic? What is it about?
Well, it's essentially good governance. It's government that actually delivering on the needs of the people. And, it's funny because you asked that question because, I go all over the world, whether I'm in Africa or Latin America or Europe, I often hear many of the same issues. Why is the government telling me what my family policies should be and what kind of genders I should have? Why is the government telling me we can't have affordable energy? Why is the government telling me we have to have open borders and massive illegal immigration? Why can't I have a good life? Why can't I work hard all day and then go home at the end and benefit from the fruits of my own labor? Why are people saying, kill the Jews? I mean, didn't we decide like decades ago that was a bad idea? So, no matter where you go, whether you call yourself center right or conservative or classical liberal or NatCon or FreeCon or neocon, I don't care. Everybody says these. Why isn't government delivering for us? And that really was the message that J.D. Vance was saying. Kind of the emperor has no clothes. Is you are not delivering for your own people. The purpose of government is to not weaponize government to destroy your political opposition and eliminate civil liberties in your country. That's not what government is for. And so the reason why the Trump message resonates is people want a government works for them. And people say, sometimes, this person is a crazy guy and, they're taking money from the Russians or they're in bed with it. And you know what? Maybe they are a crazy guy. Maybe they are taking money from the Russians or whatever. But why are people voting for them? They're not voting for them because they're taking money from the Russians. They're voting for them because their governments are terrible, and they're going to vote for somebody who says we can do better.
It's interesting to see globally a commonality among the sensibilities that we all have in this human race. And some people might call it common sense, but it's great to see it kind of coming back across
and
countries.
There are people that try to exploit that, right? For example, the scammer that calls you on the phone and says, well, don't you want to help out the people suffering from wildfires in California? Please send us $50. And you do because you want to help out, but it's just a scam. So there are people out there who are, what I would call scam populists, right? I want to solve all your problems, and they really don't. They're working for the Chinese, they're working for the Russians, they're really Nazis, I don't know. But overwhelmingly, the rise of populism in the world today, whether it's in Latin America or the United States or Canada or Europe, is because people have seen what is over the horizon with globalist governments and these elites telling them how to live their lives. And they have said that is not what we signed up for. We signed up for a government that is by the people and for the people, not a government that is over the people.
Man, well put. We appreciate you, Jim. Thanks for being with us today. We look forward to having you back each week.
All right. Thanks, my friend.
Take care. Bye-bye. Jim Carafano, Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. When Ethan called him, he answered and he said, "I've been waiting by the phone all day to hear your voice." That's what he said to Ethan. And I was like, Ethan, come in here and do that interview. Isn't he great? It's so awesome to be able to have Jim on the show with us weekly and to get his thoughts on things. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Dave Murray gives us an update on the snow, on the weather, on what's coming next. Are we in the intermission here? I have the... looks cold and wintry out there, but I don't see a winter mix based on the very small sliver of crack that I can see outside the window. We'll get the latest from 97.1 Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray next. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloor.com, and one of the things that's cool about igotfloor.com and their website, they very proudly put up their Google reviews on their website. They're very proud of them because they're good and they're real. So when you're shopping for flooring in the St. Louis area and you want to go to someone who cares about your hard-earned dollar as much as you do and they want to give you good value, well, you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. When you care about shopping at a place that's going to offer you top quality products, you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. When you care about spending your money with a business that, you know, here on 97.1 and the Annie Fry Show partners with people like us, you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can also go and read through their reviews and hear about stories of how they come over with their flooring and carpet installation crew. They bring toys for the kids to make sure that the household is at peace while they are putting in the new flooring that you're going to be really excited about. That Mohawk Smart Strand carpet is going to be fresh and smell great and feel great under your hands and under your bare feet once it gets installed in your home. And you're going to be happy, and you're going to be the next positive Google review for Michael's Flooring Outlet. Learn about it all online at igotfloor.com.
Do you ever wonder if you've saved enough to retire? Discover how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey guys, it's Dave Glover here. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience, and they're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing your Social Security, paying for health care, and more. There's no cost. We would ask that you bring 3 canned goods that we're going to pass on to the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. So you have 2 jobs when it comes to retirement, in my humble opinion. One is saving the money, putting it away. And then the other, just as important, is how do you take it out and what do you do with it after that? Find out at Retirement Planning 101. Simply call 314-350-8110. Again, no money necessary. 314-350-8110. 350-8110.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Prices are going up in 2025 on HVAC equipment. Save now with 2024 pricing on a new system today. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com/new.
The Mark Reardon Show.
James Fishback. Exceptional companies, exceptional countries are run by exceptional people. And when you play the DEI woke game, you end up creating social division and strife and really bad outcomes for all the people involved.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
That's just a little bebop for your snowy ride home after work today.
And Rocksteady.
This is the whole mood that I have when I'm driving home in snow and ice-laden roads in traffic trying to get home.
Mm-hmm.
That's not it at all.
You're just sort of dancing.
Yeah. What's the okay? Was the weather bad coming in for you today?
Yep.
Did you just take it slow, or
Yeah, I had to take it slow.
your car
there was
sitting
no
somewhere
option.
on 64 right now?
I'm thankful it started.
Really?
Yeah, I took a couple tries.
Okay. Well, we know that there is a two-parter situation here for the storm, and because Ryan Wiggins refused to go back up onto the roof and report that it was, in fact, currently snowing.
Dave Murray's up there.
We sent Dave Murray to the roof, and we're going to find out what it's doing up there. The 97.1 Chief Meteorologist, our friend Dave Murray. Welcome back to the show, Dave. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Get Wiggins back up on the roof.
Yep, go right now,
I
Ryan.
want him up there for the next 12
You want company,
hours.
don't you?
You said it's the chief speaking right now. You salute and you go, Ryan Wiggins.
That's true.
So it's 1:30 right now here in St. Louis. It looks like maybe we're in the middle. Tell us what's coming next.
Yeah, the stuff this morning was just kind of a reinforcing shot of the Arctic cold coming down, so kind of setting up what's coming. There is a big batch of snow, central Missouri, all the way down into portions of Arkansas, Oklahoma, back into Kansas. That's the main system. However, the cold, dry air from the Arctic typically wins in this situation when it comes to the St. Louis area. So we have this really fine line of absolutely no snow, a little snow, and a lot of snow. So let's put St. Louis, obviously, right in the middle, starting late this afternoon, continuing for a good portion of the night. It will be a powdery snow, like a Rocky Mountain snow. We should see about 3 inches of that. You go north, there won't be any snow at all. And when I say go north about 50 miles. You go south and along and south of a Jefferson City, Farmington, Chester line, 8 to 12 inches of snow.
Oh, man.
It's a tremendous difference. And even there, it's going to be a light, dry, fluffy type snow. Easy to blow around, easy to remove. But at the same time, temperatures are going to be around 10 degrees. So even though we're not going to see a lot of snow here in the St. Louis area, any kind of snow, especially extra slick in these kind of super cold temperatures that we have right now, and they're not going anywhere, there will be slick spots on the roads, all the side streets, major highways, the whole thing. Everything will be slicking up as we get into the late afternoon rush and overnight tonight. It's all gone in the morning. However, there'll still be some snow flurries, a little bit of light snow around on Wednesday, and temperatures in the teens.
Yikes.
You know what this reminds me of, Dave Murray, is remember last week at the same time everybody was going, we're not really sure what this is going to be. And then it turned out to be nothing. Is there a chance that could happen?
It wasn't nothing.
It was next to nothing.
It wasn't much. But if you remember correctly, we said it was not going to be much.
And when he says we, he means him.
I cannot account for who you're listening to and what phone you're looking at.
Dave, none of us, if you're talking about Ryan Wiggins, none of us know what he's listening to. None of us know at all. So the timing for
There's weird stuff going on in that head.
Yeah, that's documentable. When do the roads, in your mind, when do the roads start getting bad?
Well, like this morning, there were a lot of slick spots this morning, and we did not have a lot of snow. So
once it starts to snow, we have to make the assumption that the roads are going to get slick very quickly. So use that as the timing. If it starts to snow as we get into the late afternoon rush, roads will go downhill very, very quickly.
So people right now listening, 1:30, if you can get home from work, maybe do that right now?
Yeah, I would say let's say over the next 2 hours, if you've got the opportunity to get away from your work or school or whatever the case may be, I'd say, forget it. We're not going to see a lot of snow, but it's really, really cold out there, and things will get a little bit messy. The majority of it is going to fall during the nighttime hours, so we've got that going for us. But give the road crews a chance to hit it. But again, overnight, we're going to be hanging right around 8-9 degrees. So a lot of the chemicals are going to really struggle on this.
Dave, when you said that roads will go downhill quickly, does that count if you live up on the bluff? No, really.
He's never going to come back.
How did I,
Yeah, he's never going to come back on the show.
How did I know that was going to be said?
No, let's just move past
Dave,
that.
he's going to the roof. Don't worry about it.
There's a real question here, though, and this is for my kids. Is this a good sledding snow? Is it a good snowball snow? Is it good for anything?
It's not a good snowball snow. It's not a good snowman snow. But a piece of cardboard, flying saucer like that, excellent.
All right.
Excellent sledding snow.
All right.
That's good to know. All right.
Unless you live downhill. Down the road.
Shut up. He's not going to come back on the show.
Downhill is great.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, if you live uphill, then it's bad snow.
Wow.
After the show,
How
you
do
can
do this every day.
I don't know. I needed a 4-day weekend, and now I need another 4-day weekend. Well, Dave, we appreciate the updates. People need to heed those warnings and make sure they're safe. And I think it's also important for, like what you said, to get out of the way so the road crews can do their thing. If there are a lot of cars on the roads, that makes it more difficult for them to do that.
Exactly.
All right.
You know what? I'm going to give you some hope.
Okay.
We should be in the 50s come Monday.
50s come Monday. Oh man, I'm just going to mentally go there right now.
There you go.
Thanks, Dave. We appreciate you.
Okay. No dancing while you're driving, by the way.
Fair enough. We'll appreciate that.
Dave said so.
Dave said so. All right, Ryan, go to the roof and go get Dave.
Okay.
Talk to you soon, Dave. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye. 97.1 Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. How much does he know about you? Is this all from your stint on the Dave Glover show?
I think it's from when I was on Glover. Yeah, we.
I'm sure he listens to our show every day, but in the off chance he doesn't.
No, he came in one time, and
really?
Yeah, he came in once, and we were just sort of doing a studio visit, and I got an autograph from him for my dad, because my dad just is a weather nut.
It must have been a really big deal when he came in, because he and Dave Glover famously had never met for like years and years and years.
No, it was, and I think that was that time.
Yeah.
And so every time I go down in my basement now, or my parents' basement, to get a drink down there, they have a refrigerator down there. I walk past a picture
really
of Dave Murray
part of the story.
that's signed to Bob Wiggins.
Bob Wiggins.
And I'm always like, oh yeah, that's
Dave
cool.
Murray.
It's right
and
there.
you and Dave have that moment.
Yeah, me and Dave Murray have that moment that
on
he doesn't
your way
know.
Oh.
to get a drink from the refrigerator.
Yeah, usually I'm getting a Yoo-hoo.
There's some conversations we have where I'm like, I'd like a map of this conversation. I'm going to share a picture here on the YouTube live chat. And just to let you know, last night I went and visited the Monroe County Lincoln Day event. Now, have you've been to a Lincoln Day dinner?
Yes.
Ryan? Brad, you've been to Lincoln Day dinners?
I feel like this is a setup, though.
Yeah, it's George Lincoln. No. I was invited to come out there. I was very honored to do that. Haven't done as much in Monroe County. I've been going to a lot of different places. Jersey County, I went there a couple weeks ago. I'm going to be going to Macoupin County. If you are in those areas, please sign up for the Macoupin County event. I'll be speaking out there in a few weeks, maybe in a month. Well, Monroe County's event was last night, and what Monroe County does, and I'm just like learning a lot more about Monroe County. First of all, Republicans hold all the seats.
Sweet.
In Monroe County. And a lot of times if I go to these events, I'm like, here's what we need to do, guys. We need to get motivated. We need to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys already did it all. You tell me what I need to know.
Yeah.
It was not your traditional round table, linen, stage, Lincoln Day dinner. It was at a bar
It was like the waste management tour.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was at a bar called the Fountain Inn.
Oh, okay.
Which was amazing. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to get, the next time you're looking for like an adventurous date, I want you to find the Fountain Inn, which I think is in Valmeyer.
Ooh, I'm actually writing this down.
And you're driving through the country, and you're driving along Bluff Road, and I've been on Bluff Road a bazillion times in my life because Bluff Road goes right there, 157 with the Collinsville, Maryville, Edwardsville bluffs right there. These are different bluffs, and it's a different Bluff Road. And it was just stunningly beautiful because it was kind of getting into golden hour. And you're driving through the fields on the right, bluffs on the left. It's just like the PCH, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
A little snow cover over the field, so not completely white, but just the way it highlights everything, highlights all the ground up on the bluffs. Just absolutely stunningly beautiful. And you're driving, and then all of a sudden, there's the bar. It's just out there.
Cool.
And it's a really cool bar. They got TVs up there. The people were just amazing. And, it wasn't a huge space. There might have been 100 people in there. I'm not 100% sure. It was not a huge space, but it was a fish fry.
So was it people like riding the bull and like Coyote Ugly, or was it fancy?
Maybe in the back that I didn't see. I can't rule it out. No, it's not fancy.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's like the right kind of, it's just the absolute right speed. It's the Fountain Inn.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Like you just come up on a place from nowhere.
Yes.
Usually that's pretty cool.
And you think like some sort of dive bar hole in the wall place. It was really nice and well put together inside. Like I said, big televisions up if you wanted to watch a game or something, but out in the middle of nowhere in Valmeyer, Illinois, which I used to play Valmeyer in sports when I was in high school. Valmeyer was in our conference. And just the best people. And when I was sitting there, it wasn't like, Annie, stand up and, do your 20-minute speech. I've had people be like, you go like 45 minutes. I'm like, good night, 45 minutes? Okay. I'm here to do whatever you want. Some people, like sometimes I'll MC. I'm always like, what can I do to help make this event? And this time, John, the guy who runs the Macoupin County Republican Party, I think I said that right. He's like, I was just thinking maybe I'd introduce you and then maybe ask you some questions and you could take some questions from the crowd. And I was like, sure, that sounds like fun. So I sat there and answered some questions, talked a little bit about how I got into where I am right now. And the first thing that I said, and when I was sitting up in front of these people, I just realized, like, it's February of 2025. Donald Trump's the president. I'm around the best people that Southern Illinois has to offer, and these groups exist in all these counties, but you get into this room, it's just happy people. People are smiling, people are talking, people are hugging when they walk in the room. There's fish fry going on at a bar with sports on the TV and everything, and I'm just like, what do the Democrat parties look like right now?
I think most of them are getting defunded because they were government. But I can tell you that they don't look as much like that.
I just was looking around at these folks that were there that I was so honored to be able to go there and meet. And I'm just like, this is the right place. These are the right people. And if you were to pluck anybody out who was like, I don't know about the Republican Party, I don't know about that, and put them in there, they would at the end of the night be like, these are great. This is great. What have I been missing? There was joy. There was happiness. It helps that Donald Trump's the president, but we're winning right now, and we're winning with the right things. And of course, like I said, in Monroe County, they got it. They got it figured out there. They've got a wonderful county. I think they said that they have 34,000 people in the whole county. So it's a smaller county. It's easier to do those things. But they have great leadership. They have generational leadership in the Monroe County Republican Party. And you just go to an event like this. I think it's important to take note from the 4 years that we've been dealing with trying to push back and resist against what has been shoved upon us. I think it's really important when you're in those moments and you're like, gosh, this is good, to make sure that you remember and acknowledge the fact that right now it's good. And then use that as a catalyst to go, for anybody who's around you who's curious about why you seem to be in such a good mood or to be feeling high on this, because good night, I'm watching some people I told you guys know I'm now a Reddit fiend. I just sit and read Reddit all the time at night when I'm trying to sleep. It's bad for my sleep cycle. Some people are absolutely distraught over this, but I think most people are watching what's going on, and whether they'll publicly admit it or not right now, they're like, this is pretty awesome. How do we get those people who maybe went out on a limb and supported Donald Trump in this last election, or knew that when they didn't support Kamala Harris in the last election, that was a quiet vote of confidence for Donald Trump that they didn't actually have to own? How do you get those people to a fish fry in Valmeyer, Illinois, to go, these are kind of my people? And it was wonderful. So I told you that they asked questions. The second question that I asked was from this guy here in the middle.
Oh, let me see here.
And he goes, what about this Wiggins guy?
Was that the whole question?
The second question I asked, what about this Wiggins guy? I think the question went something like this. Is he really like that?
No, you told him no, right? This is all a show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get off air and I'm actually pretty darn smart.
That's the word you came up with as the converse to what you are on the air?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't think I come off as the wisest person on air.
Oh, you come off as a
Go ahead.
not the wisest.
Oh, okay.
What about this Wiggins guy? Is he really like that? And I gave my explanation. And
you gonna skip that part?
Yeah,
okay.
a little bit. You had to be there.
Okay.
You got to come to the next fish fry,
Guess
man.
I will. I wrote it down.
Everybody wanted to know why you guys weren't there, and they wanted to see you guys as well. But I was really disgusted by how many people told me how much they like you guys. They were.
It brings me joy.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm letting you know. These individuals, they were great guys. Everybody there was great. And yes, Ryan, you have a lot of fans in Monroe County. Brad, you do too.
I get a lot. Whenever I go to an event, I get a lot of questions. Same thing. Where's Brad? And I'm always like, he's a good guy. He really should.
He's a man of God. He's working in the fields.
Right. That's what I say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's actually a lot smarter than he comes off on air.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what you say. I don't think anyone's ever come up to me and like, is Brad really like that? But you, Ryan, it's every other question. But thank you, Monroe County, for having me out. It was wonderful. Go, just put for an evening. If you're just trying to go somewhere and get out and go on a little adventure, go find the Fountain Inn in Valmeyer and tell them that Annie sent you. We'll be right back.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440. I was talking to a realtor yesterday at the fish fry, and they were talking about how the market right now is kind of wonk because everybody's holding on to those old rates and maybe not shifting around as much. I want to make sure that you understand that if you had to get one of those rates when you moved that were sky high from where they are right now, that you can refinance that rate at zero closing cost to you. And that's with the Bagel Loan at Stewart's American Mortgage. Reach out to 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440 and talk to Stewie about refinancing your mortgage. And he will set you up with the best deal that he possibly can. And if he can't help you, if your current deal is better than what he can do for you, he's going to be honest with you in that regard and give it to you straight. He's very honest and very aggressive on making sure that he can get you the best possible deal, which is why I have two 2-time refinanced with the bagel loan myself. Reach him directly at 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan for more info, NMLS number 226715.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
What's the deal with all the plane crashes? Is it accidents, negligence, malfeasance, or Trump and Musk's fault?
Is that Reese's peanut butter cup from Christmas good?
Here's the story. Annie gave me a peanut butter cup right before, and I ate it, and then Brad goes, time check, and I'm like, ah!
I gave you 10 seconds.
You did,
I
so I
found
swallowed
that
it.
peanut butter cup in my bag.
There's no time.
There's
no expiration on a peanut butter cup.
I was going to throw it away, and Ryan goes, and he said in a really low voice, I'll eat that.
YouTube live chat poll today. What's the deal with all the plane crashes? Accidents, negligence, malfeasance, Trump and Musk's fault. Let us know by typing in Any Fry on YouTube. 140, 150. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 is excited to welcome Brian Kilmeade back to St. Louis.
Hi, everyone. Brian Kilmeade here. I have great news. I'm going to be joining all of you in St. Louis.
Be a part of this event.
March 22nd, St. Louis. You're going to love it.
Get tickets at briankilmeade.com.
Well, I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah. Say, I got a woman way over town.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Give me money when I'm in need. Yeah, she's a kind of friend indeed. I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah.
So did you listen to the new protest song?
Yes, I did. Listen to the whole thing. Standing in my kitchen last night.
And?
It's a banger.
I think we're going to play it in the 2 o'clock hour. Can we play it? I haven't been able to. I was around middle school girls all weekend, so every once in a while I'd start listening to something like that, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know where it's going to go.
I don't think there was anything in it that was
I didn't hear anything
objectionable,
in
like for FCC purposes.
Which side are you on? Have you thought of that this weekend?
Yeah, I was singing it all weekend still. Put a beat behind that thing, and it's actually pretty catchy.
We got a lot of traction on that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that came up over the weekend was the which side are you on thing. My daughter had found it. And by the end of it, kids are like, oh, I want to hear it. And I'm like, no, you don't.
The kids love dubstep.
Yeah.
You put anything to dubstep, and they're just like catnip.
There's a lot of metaphors.
Well, no, dubstep isn't a metaphor. Dubstep is a metaphor for dubstep.
Is there any, I mean, I've been to rallies. I've been to protests before. I've never been to like a hostile protest. Usually the protests I go to are for causes that I believe in, and they're actually pretty positive and happy. It's just like a constant dirge on the left right now. Where do they think, maybe these songs are really just intended for the audience that's there, and
I'm
then
sure it
and
is.
then when you put it on video, but don't you know it's going to be on video?
Yeah, but there's a real thing here, and churches get caught in this a lot, where if you're just talking to your congregation, whatever you're saying, there's no problem. But if somebody clips it and takes it out of context, they can make you look really crazy. So that's probably a little bit of what's going on.
Do you think that the reaction on social media is going to encourage more of it or less of it?
I think we're at the pinnacle right now. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot more of these because they're getting made fun of pretty bad.
Here's the Ryan Wiggins version.
Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me which side are you on? Which side are you on? We'll fight against Joe. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Trump's coming for our union.
Okay, I can't do it anymore. That's enough.
That's right where it gets really good, though.
We have to play this. We have to play this. From a listener of the Annie Fry Show, tweeted this out. You guys didn't play this on Friday, did you?
No.
All right. One of our listeners, and I'm going to give you his handle on X here, TJ_Martin55. He put this together, and he tweeted at us, and it's good.
Well, the whining continues, so I just had to take it one more step. Whose side are you on? 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 Ladder with your left wing, platitude. In fact, we find you all extremely rude. Your people are perverted, raw and crude. So whose side are you on? 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 Well, Mario's traveling across the land to bring in peace wherever he can. The hostages are coming home again. So whose side are you on? 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 Well, Cash, he's headed to the FBI. He and Pam are gonna open some eyes. It's easy to see why the Dems are crying. And whose side are they on? 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 The presidents are calling for unity, but those left-wing wackos will never see. Surrounded by perverted ideologies. And whose side are they on? 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 Whose side am I on? We're coming to trim the swamp.
Is that not awesome?
It was really good.
I could listen
There's
to
a
it.
huge difference. It's not just with the lyrics. It's with the guy singing can sing. There's a big difference between that lady.
I also really appreciated the fact that his guitar was in tune, because a lot of times people will do something like this, and it's like, oh, you need to just put that high E up just a little bit more, and it wasn't. It was great. And I appreciated that so much. Thank you for sharing that with us and tweeting it to us here on the show, posting it on X. At Annie Fry Show at Radio Wiggins, at Range Brad. If you are somebody who is on X, maybe you're not super active on it, but you want to follow the show, that's how you can absolutely do that. Let's take a quick break. 2 o'clock hour, the Andy Fry Show, right around the corner. Go vote in our YouTube live chat poll. What's the deal with all the plane crashes? Leave your comments as well on the YouTube chat. We'll read some of those when we come back.
So tenderly, I got a woman.
Did you all hear what's going on with these energy mandates? You know, I've been told they don't make a lot of sense, and I'm in the business. I agree 100%. Actually, they make 0 sense. So here's the easiest thing, and the only thing I have on a recommendation. You're going to need a new furnace or a new air conditioner. Just call me for a just common sense approach to your heating and cooling needs for your house. If your system is old or you just want to replace a system, now just call me. It's Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest and the only one, Missouri and Illinois, is 314-293-2600. Again, it's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551. 800-656-1551.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Trying to find a way to end the war. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says ending Russia's war in Ukraine will require concessions from all sides. This after leading a U.S. delegation to meet with Russian counterparts in Saudi Arabia. Here's what he said after the talks wrapped up.
I came away today convinced that they are willing to begin to engage in a serious process to determine how quickly and through what mechanism can an end be brought to this war.
But Fox's Alex Hogan says
Russia is doubling down on one of its demands, saying it is not enough for NATO not to invite Ukraine into the alliance, but wants the alliance to go one step further, canceling a promise from 2008 that would say that eventually Ukraine could be a part of the group. So far, talks also reportedly involve a 3-stage peace plan. It would also potentially call for elections in Ukraine before the signing of a final agreement. Now, while Ukraine is not taking part, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly said in the last week that no deal can be made on its behalf if Ukrainian negotiators are not involved.
Got an update out of Toronto from airport officials regarding the investigation into Monday's Delta plane crash. Here's Fox's Gernal Scott.
The investigation at Toronto Pearson International Airport now focuses on the plane, which remains on one of 2 closed runways. 80 people were on board and rescued from the aircraft that came to rest upside down. Airport CEO Deborah Flint said 21 people suffered crash-related injuries.
Delta Airlines has reported that 19 of those passengers have been released and 2 remain hospitalized.
Flint detailed weather issues over the last several days with flight cancellations that resulted, but described Monday as a clear day. Canada's Transportation Board and the FAA are part of the ongoing investigation. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Clouds and light snow and snow flurries around as we go through the afternoon, with a steadier light snow developing as we get into the late afternoon and well into the night. Around St. Louis, we're looking at about 3 inches of a dry, powdery snow by Wednesday morning. Wednesday clouds, some light snow and flurries, cold day, 17. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Step outside and fall in love with your backyard again. From inviting porch overhangs to durable composite decks and cozy screen rooms, Lakeside Renovation and Design creates stunning outdoor living spaces designed for relaxation, entertaining, and making memories. With expert craftsmanship and top-quality materials, your new outdoor oasis will be perfect for every season. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design today or visit lakesiderd.com to get started. Let's turn your backyard into the retreat you've always dreamed of.
Mark Cox here. Are you looking for the perfect start to your child's education? At Kirk Day School, the early childhood program for ages 3 and 4 is where your little one will learn to thrive. They have hands-on activities, nurturing teachers, and a biblical worldview. You can attend their early childhood open house Friday, March 7th, meet the dedicated educators, and tour their Christ-centered classrooms. To register for their early childhood open house and learn more, visit kirkdayschool.org.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Before I met these lawyers, I was kind of spinning my wheels. After I met these lawyers, they gave me a sense of worth, self-worth. When someone's fighting for you, it just makes you feel like you're not alone no more. My lawyer gave me my life back.
Visit MissouriLawyersHelp.org to learn more. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Brought to you by the Missouri Bar.
O'Reilly Veriscan is a free check engine light testing program that pulls from over 600 million vehicle scans confirmed by ASE certified technicians to provide a simple report and possible fixes. Available exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Submit your favorite fish fry at 971talk.com/events. We're taking the show on the road every Friday during Lent, and we're looking for suggestions. It's Fish Fry Fridays on The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
That video of that plane flipping over is wild.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see.
It's crazy to watch. Oh, here goes the plane going into land, and whoop, there it goes right over the top in a blaze. A little intimidating if you're somebody who might be trying to get in an airplane sometime soon. I wonder how much that's affecting your thoughts on travel. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's 2:07. We appreciate you being with us on 97.1 FM Talk. A reminder, you can stream us on the Odyssey app as well. AUDACY. Find 97.1. Find the Annie Fry Show. Take us with you anywhere you go. And also streaming live on the YouTube, Annie Fry YouTube channel, which is where we're asking you in the live chat poll on the YouTube broadcast, what's the deal with all the plane crashes? Accidents, negligence, malfeasance, or I just threw in there because I had an extra option, just blame it on Trump and Musk.
I don't think I'm going to do that last one.
Really? Just kind of put it in there for you.
No, that's not me. I don't think you know me very well. I am actually leaning toward just the first one. I don't think there's really more to it than just accidents. Plane accidents happen a lot. I tried looking up numbers, but I couldn't find anything as recent as 2014 or 2024 and 25, so I couldn't really report on that.
Swalwell put out a tweet that's like the most accident plane crashes ever in the first month of a presidency, and then I saw he was quickly corrected. It was like, actually, Biden had more.
Of course.
So I don't know. There's still time.
I'm on accidents right now until I see otherwise.
Does it affect your? Do you have any flights scheduled soon?
I do. Yeah, next month.
Does it bother you? Are you is there any part of you that's going, okay?
No, it doesn't bother me. You can tell that it bothers people, though. Right after the Boeing door flew off last year, I had a flight within a few weeks after that. And normally, I think it might have been Southwest because it was open seating, so it must have been. Nobody would sit in that exit row. Nobody would sit in that exit row. So I chose to because you get more leg room. But I think there is something affecting the psyche of people when they see these things because they're making decisions like that.
Where do you avoid sitting if the flight lands upside down?
I'm going to say you probably just make sure your seatbelt works and that's it. There's you can't do anything.
It's unreal that nobody died.
It's unreal that nobody apparently got really seriously injured. Of the 21 people that went to the hospital, I think they've sent 19 home already.
They said in that press conference earlier this morning that there are no life-threatening injuries.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is incredible. Brad, what about you? What's the deal with all these plane crashes?
Well, I think I'm going to go a step further. I think it's negligence. I've noticed across several different industries and all sorts of stuff like that there just seems to be this overall attitude amongst employees that are like, I just don't care. I don't care. That's good enough. It's good enough for me. That'll be good enough for whatever. And I think that you can fall into that negligence mindset if that's the atmosphere that's been created in the industry that you work in. And, you say, it's good enough. And as long as nothing happens, good enough is good enough. And, you get lazy and you overlook things. And for it to happen this consistently, and it's I think that it's a negligence thing. I think that people aren't actually following the standards that have been set forth for inspections and all of that other stuff, and we're missing stuff.
Is if this slew of accidents has any correlation with DEI initiatives, do you put that in negligence or malfeasance?
Ooh, man, that's tough. I'd put it in negligence as far as the people on the ground, the people doing the work, but the people...
Kamala Harris.
No, not those people.
It's kind of what we're talking about.
Those people I actually would put in malfeasance because they are deliberately undermining... I hate to even use the buzzword because everybody's using it, but merit of being hired for a job because you deserve that job. And it's so unfortunate to have to talk about these things because nobody wants to inject race into that conversation except the left. This is where they thrive, is injecting race into conversations that it shouldn't be a part of. And so we're at that point now where you have to ask that question. Did this person get the job because they deserve the job, or did they get the job because they check a box for the left?
And it's unfortunate for the people that got the job that would also, A, they're qualified for it.
That were qualified for it, right?
But also check that box for the left. That now they get the question surrounding them. It's like, well, why did you get the job?
You've undermined those people.
That's not fair to them.
Exactly.
And I'm with Ryan. I would put that DEI hiring under malfeasance. I think that if you are ignoring the abilities of the people and you're actually just making sure that the number one quality is the color of their skin or their gender or their sexual preference, and you're not looking at their abilities, I think that's awful, especially if you're turning away more qualified applicants because they don't fit your needs in that area. That's malfeasance.
What's the opposite of DEI?
Obviously, IED. This joke was already made, therefore it is not that great.
Are you talking about my post?
Yes.
I put this on X over the weekend because it's just if you're watching the left react to all the DEI initiatives being pulled out, if to them, when DEI goes away, racism just swoops in.
Mm-hmm.
If
that was the only thing holding it back.
DEI,
it was right at the door.
If you listen to them, I mean, if you really break it down to like, what are the points that we're making here? What is the argument that you have for DEI being an important implementation into whatever the field it is? And there are people who are saying, without DEI, only white men will do everything. I personally don't believe that's true.
She's waving at the camera, folks.
Folks.
Folksy.
It's FOAKS.
Folks.
Yeah, if you have to say it that way.
Folks.
What? So, I mean, yes, IED, I get it. But what is the opposite of DEI?
I think it's just allowing... It's taking your hand. This is the bigger picture. It's taking your thumb off the marketplace. It's not trying to inject anything, DEI being one thing, but also, trying to push equality of outcome instead of just allowing the marketplace to exist. And this applies to so many things. It applies to electric vehicle mandates and so many other areas than just DEI. It's taking your hand out of the marketplace and allowing it to self-regulate. And that usually ends up the best you can get. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It means that it ends up about as good as you can get it.
It's pure meritocracy. May the best person win. Your DEI diversity means you're focusing on, race or sexual preference or gender or whatever. Equity means you're trying to force outcomes, and then you go back to inclusivity. You want to make sure that everybody's included regardless of their ability to do whatever it is to do. And so whenever you take the opposite of that, it's just, I want to know who's the best at this, and I need that person on my team, on my job, doing the job that I need them to do. And it doesn't matter what their race is, what their gender is, what their sexual orientation is. It doesn't matter if they have the same outcome as little Billy who wants to be included but can't do the job. It's pure meritocracy.
You see the loudest part of what is on the face of the Democratic Party right now is the far left progressives. They're the ones, they're like screeching into the night. And DEI is a big part of it. Everything, all of the racism cards that you can be played, all the Nazi cards that can be played. The assertion that the Republican Party is just for the white man is really, the more they push, a bigger losing issue. I think they're hurting their cause by being, screechy is the word that I just used, but by pushing back against the likes of a Doge in the way that they're doing it. I think that they are better advocates for the Donald Trump way of doing it than even the results that Donald Trump is putting up on the board.
Yeah, and it's so offensive to if you are of any minority at all other than white guy, if you're anything else. A lot more, and more people than ever voted for Donald Trump this time.
More black people.
Yeah.
More young people.
More women.
Just, in so many different categories, people are like, you're just not, this far left progressive thing is not working for us.
Uh-huh. And so he grew with every single minority that you could possibly parse out. And yet there are still people that want to scream. Now, this is just the patriarchy again. And it falls more and more on deaf ears the more time that goes by. And you're right. that does benefit Donald Trump because it makes the argument for him without him ever even saying it.
If you look at it, I mean, they scream and scream and scream about the patriarchy and all that other stuff. Oh, the Republican Party is the party of white men. And then you start looking at the cabinet of Donald Trump. That's a diverse cabinet. And it isn't because they set out to make it diverse. They went out for the best people for the job. You ended up with Pam Bondi as AG. Kash Patel is probably going to get confirmed as FBI director. I can't think of her name. The Labor Department secretary is both a Hispanic and a woman. And, you've got all this different diversity out there. So the left is out there screaming, this would be the party of the old white men. And then everybody that's watching what's going on is looking and they're seeing the exact opposite. It's playing out like this across the board for the left. Everything that they say is happening. People are looking and watching and paying attention. They're like, no, it's not. And that's what's killing them.
I think with the YouTube poll, what's the deal with all the plane crashes, that to me, if it's accidents, negligence, malfeasance, or Trump and Musk's fault, there's some people who are listening who just really felt great clicking that button. And I want you to keep coming back and clicking the buttons on my stuff. To me, it's accidents until we have some sort of factual evidence that suggests otherwise. I don't really care. I care only in the sense that in order to solve a problem, you have to identify the problem. Donald Trump comes in and shakes everything up, is trying to pull the waste out so that we can be a much more functioning government for the people. And everyone is looking for any sort of catastrophe that they can point to and say, see, Trump did that. You can't look at some of these things that are taking place right now. If your sole purpose after a plane crash is to be like, was this Trump's fault or was this Biden's fault? I'm sorry, but that's kind of a crap place to be. It's okay, for conversation or whatever, but it doesn't solve anything. If you feel like you got to put a point on the board because you proved that something was Biden's fault or you proved that something was Trump's fault, okay, you got a point. Then what? I think we'll find out if there were qualified people who were overlooked because they didn't look the right way, that didn't get those jobs. If there were unqualified people who did get a job because they looked a certain way, I think we'll find that out. But more importantly, I think people want efficient systems, fair compensation, and the ability to work for something that they believe in. And I don't really feel like government work has been set up for those things. And we need to live in a country where the private sector is set up to be able to focus on companies who want to look to their employees and say, we appreciate you, we want you here, and we're going to give you the best package available to keep the best people here. I think there's a whole mindset behind the earned dollar that is so lost in this, socialism dabbling that we've been doing, this entitlement mindset that we've been in. Everybody's a victim. You're trying to figure out all the different victim boxes that you can check so that at the end of all of that, you can get whatever that qualifies you for. That's absurd and it's un-American. How do we get ourselves back to the place where earning the dollar is the honorable and desirable thing to do so that you can turn that dollar into $10, into $100, and so on and so forth? And I kind of feel like that's the opposite of DEI, which is you have to ask yourself, what's the best possible way we can provide this service? What's the best possible way we can create this product and sell this product and attract the absolute best possible people to make us meet that end goal? And when you attract the people who are the best for those equations, that's how you get an America First capitalistic society that works for the most people. And people will be like, oh, there's going to be people left out by that. Are they choosing to be left out? Because I want to go back to the place where if you're choosing to not participate in the system, you do get left out, but it's by your choice, not my choice. Are there people who are living in a set of circumstances that maybe they were born into, or just a really unfortunate string of circumstances that have them really down on their luck, that as a society we can come together and help them? Absolutely. Let's help our neighbors. And a reminder, It doesn't have to always go through government in order for those people to gain that help. We're so upside down on our mentality of how we fund our own lives to be able to acquire the things and do the things that we want. The government has successfully shifted the public mentality into basically the amount of money that they let you keep. Elon Musk has taken a wrecking ball to that because Donald Trump put him in a position to do that. And I think all of these things start coming together. I'm on this poll, what's the deal with the plane crashes? I am like hopeful. I am hopeful that they are accidents. And that we can look at the areas where the breakdown is and quickly move into rectifying those problems. But we'll see. We want to know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go vote in the live chat poll. Quick break. More Annie Fry show right around the corner. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The Dittamore Group, Dittamore, Dittamore. The DittamoreGroup.com is the website. Are you looking to list your home right now in Illinois, in Missouri? Well, you need the best in the business. The Dittamore Group. Tammy, Zach, Pat, Abby, and Trisha are ready to guide you through this process. They can help you top to bottom. Make sure that your home listing is done the right way the first time. You never want to list it. Maybe you do it on your own or you do it with, Aunt Sally, who also does real estate on the side of the other three things that she does normally does. She's not full-time. And it shows. Then you got to take it off the market, and then you put it back on with somebody who's really a strong professional at this. Start with the Dittamore Group. Push all of that behind, get to the point where you're doing it with the first person who is the right person at the Dittamore Group with 50-plus years of experience. They know exactly the questions to ask, the way to position your home for a top sale in a complicated market. They are there to guide you through the process. They're the number one team in the number one office in the Metro East, and they are there to make sure that the process is a smooth one. If you're buying, if you're selling, or if you're just simply thinking about moving, reach out to the Dittamore Group, 618-531-4652, 618-531-4652, online at thedittamore.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings feel like $1 million? Or $1 million feel like $2 million? The key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. Discover how you could make money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class, Retirement Planning 101. Guys, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. If you've saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. If, like me, you haven't quite had the pedal to the metal the way you should, or if you've had the pedal to the metal the entire time, either way, give us a call. We can help you out. We'll take you wherever you are. 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you have a furnace that needs service, a heat pump that needs repairs, or a boiler that needs to be replaced, contact Air Comfort Service. They offer 24/7 emergency heating service too. AirComfortService.com.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I got something. You got something. Who goes first? You or me?
You.
Me.
You. Because I didn't have my mic on.
Shame.
That means by default, you get to go.
You go first.
All right. What do you know about MAGA makeup?
I don't.
You've never heard of it?
No.
I've never heard of it, but I thought maybe this is something that...
Wasn't this a trend that was going on?
This is a trend. It's
all right, Brad, tell us about MAGA makeup.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Well, what I understand about it is that some left-wing influencers got on there and they're doing their makeup tutorials, and then as a dig at Republican women, they were doing tutorials on how to do Republican makeup, but I don't know exactly what the makeup is.
I don't really understand the point of the dig, because Republican women are out contributing to society and not watching influencers tell them how to do their makeup. They're grown women. They already know how to do that.
Wasn't there a whole thing about oh man, Republican women are so attractive? Is this a pushback against that? Maybe. Because what this is a satirical TikTok trend that content creators are mocking the makeup of Republican-leaning women, which I would assume that meant that there was a look to Republican makeup. But I don't know if that's what they're saying. But that's what I would naturally think.
That's what they're saying.
But what it says is that they define Republican...
If you start to describe my face right now, I don't know if I'm going to be flattered
Somebody
or
who
hurt.
had longer hair, cut it a little shorter. They say...
How's my hair right now? Would you say a 0?
No, I'd give it higher than that.
0.5.
Higher than that.
You cut 3 inches off my hair. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Confirmed.
For those of you listening
Confirmed
who can't
kill.
see his face, he was super satisfied with himself when he said that.
I think it looks good, though.
It does.
I'll tell you that. That's the truth, that it looks good. And that I contributed to that. Okay.
Let's talk about your face.
No, I don't want to. Republican makeup is defined as cakey, orange foundation, which sounds like you're getting into satirical territory here, and too thick eyebrows, and clumpy mascara. Now,
dude, the left doesn't even wear makeup.
I thought that this just sounded like makeup. I don't. The orange foundation thing, to me, that sounds like a Trump thing. But the rest of it, I'm like, is that a real thing, or is this just intended to caricaturize people?
Doesn't Trump look less orange these days?
Yes, a little.
And he came
Actually,
back with
I never
white
even
hair.
thought about it.
It's like
but yes.
Gandalf the White. Better and
That's
stronger.
true. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah.
But you're right.
He's forged.
He looks less spray tanned.
He looks more mystical.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of The Hobbit, we'll play the Frank Luntz here in a minute.
Says, I noticed that all the Republican girlies in my comments do their makeup the exact same gorgeous way, so I thought that I would try to do it myself. TikToker and comedian Suzanne Lambert said, sarcastically.
It's like she's hilarious.
Yeah, she's got jokes.
Funny looking.
To achieve conservative girl makeup, she made sure to apply foundation with her fingers to create a streaky finish and did not prep the skin beforehand because she wanted the product to cling to any dry spots and accentuate any texture. This isn't realistic. That's my question. This isn't something that they're actually saying conservative women do a thing like this. They're just making something new up, right? That's where I wanted to go. I wanted to ask that question of you because I don't do makeup.
You said earlier that there is a stereotype that conservative women are more attractive than liberal women.
Yes.
If we're talking about caricatures, I think that at least I'm intentionally trying not to be like low blow mean here.
Okay.
So I'm putting that out there. I hope it comes, whatever. I feel like if you want people to know the moment you walk into a room that you are a raging feminist liberal, those women do that with their appearance.
Mm-hmm.
You can.
It's intentionally grabbing your attention.
I'm trying to say I think it's what they're going for.
Yeah.
I'm not like putting that upon them. I don't think. I think that there are things that people will do to their appearance so that when you meet them, you are assuming that they are feminist or super progressive for whatever particular reason. I don't know that exists for Republicans. Although I will tell you that as a female talk radio show host on a Fox News radio affiliate station, I do not get a dime from Fox News. They do not pay me. I don't even know if they know me. But the amount of times that I have, now this is radio, so you might not know what I look like, but I will tell you that I'm blonde / gray. I think on the camera I look maybe blonder than my hair. I don't know, my hair might be a little more gray in real life. I'm blonde. I have blue eyes. I don't know what else there is to say about how I look. But the insults that I get on X about my looks, because they see that I'm on 97.1 or it's a Fox News radio affiliate, the association that I get with the Fox News brand of females and the implication that everything about me is fake. I do not color my hair. I just cut my hair for the first time in close to a year because Ryan cut it first. I've got zero Botox. I've had nothing done and I probably should start. Some of the trolls out there have said the meanest things to me because of the way I look and the connection of that to the Fox brand, which I can only assume is some sort. It's like they say it like a blonde bimbo thing, and the implication that I'm super stupid. So there is some sort of connection between physical appearance and politics. But I when I'm looking at like who's trying to on the surface put out their politics and make that enter the room before any word you speak enters the room, I feel like the left is doing that an awful lot more. And the things that you would criticize Republican women, like, to me, it's if you're insulting me because you're saying I look like a Fox News girl, I don't find that particularly insulting. It's not the most insulting thing you could say to me. Now, of course, they think that insinuates that I'm a dumb bimbo, to use their words. I just think that, like, on the surface, if you're boiling everything down to physical appearance and the people who are trying to use their appearance to make sure their politics are the first things you assume about them, I don't think that there is a way that the right does it. The left certainly can.
It's just funny because if somebody walks into the room, and I'm not even going to describe what this is. I'm not sure you described what this is. But the minute you said it, we all had what was in our heads. That if a person walks into the room and they want you to know that they are leading with leftist politics, they have a look. We didn't say what it was, but you have an image in your mind. That image is intentionally, A, attention grabbing, and B, intended to be, I'm so different. And they look exactly alike.
Well,
which is weird because you're trying to look different.
Let me take it a step farther than what you just did. I think that it's intentionally unattractive. I think that they do that for a reason, and that's to show that they
some sort of patriarchy.
Yeah,
statement.
they're not under the control of men. They're not trying to get men's attention. They don't need no man, that sort of thing. I think that they intentionally make themselves unattractive for that purpose, and that might be where some of the malice toward the quote-unquote Fox News girl look comes from, because they will look at somebody like Annie who's trying to make themselves attractive and go, hey, You're doing that to please men, and that isn't feminist. And so they get mad about it.
I'm also not doing it to please men. I just like the way my face looks better when I do this to my face than the natural downtrodden 40-year-old. Like you, Ryan.
The natural state of,
Gosh, Annie, you look tired. Are you okay?
going across the country in a Conestoga wagon.
I don't get it.
It's like pre-makeup.
You ever watch a show long enough that's like an old-timey show? It could be a new production of like old-timey stuff. And the women who are on that show, air quotes, are not wearing makeup. They look natural. They're wearing makeup to look natural.
Yeah.
But it's preferable, in my opinion, over certainly the overdone thing. I don't even know if you look at Hollywood right now, you would assume everything Hollywood is leftist. The eyelash situation that this country is facing, the overdone lips and fillers and stuff, there is like a brand of female out there right now that they all are starting to kind of look the same because they've all had the same stuff overdone. Do you find that? Do you know what I'm talking about? And do you find it attractive or unattractive when these things are done to the extent that they're being done? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't like if I look at somebody and I think, and I'm not trying to think this, but the instant thought is, I don't think that's you. And that could be a lot of different things. But if the first thing I think is, I'm not sure
those aren't your eyelashes,
that's real, whether it's eyelashes or anything else, that to me is instantly, whatever you're trying didn't work, because my natural reaction was, what's going on?
So I agree with you that the enhancements that one does to themselves, and I'm not opposed to anybody, like I've said this before, if you want to get work done, get work done. It's your life. It's you do you. But shouldn't the goal, I guess everybody can have their own goals, but like my goal would always be to the closest version of my best looking self, not what I would look like if I just attached a bunch of things to me that weren't mine and
Flare.
That's right,
Face
15
flare.
pieces of flare.
I would think that probably is the goal for everybody doing it. They just aren't able to get there.
Do you notice overfilled lips?
Oh, yeah.
I don't notice much. Like
I know. That's why I'm asking you,
notice-
because if you notice it, it's a statement.
I notice that something's different, and I usually can't put my finger on it.
Brad, you can?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, overfilled lips is popular. I don't know what they call the stuff, the injections above the eyebrows. Botox. They get that a lot. And I know what you're talking about because it seems like every girl is trying to look like a Kardashian. They just try to get themselves into that. And
But
so
the Kardashians don't even look like the Kardashians.
No. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I forget whatever the youngest one's name is. You see a picture of her before she had work done and afterwards, and she doesn't look like the same person. But instead of, like Annie said, trying to get the best version of you, it's like, I like these lips, and these lips are what I want. So they're just trying to get that sort of look installed on their face. And it doesn't work for me.
I just think it's going to, in 20 years, people are going to look back and be like, what were we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, couldn't we tell?
Yeah, and the problem is those people will look the exact same.
They'll be smiling really big. Quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about this New York Post article. An angry bride struggles through vows as guest lets baby cry during an adults-only ceremony. It's a lot of nuance to this story, and we'll comb through it here when we come back and get the results of the YouTube live chat poll. What's the deal? You do it. With all these
Who are the ad wizards that came up with that one?
plane crashes, accidents, negligence, malfeasance, or heck, it's just Trump and Musk's fault. We'll be right back.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
The Retirement Advisory Group is online at retirementkey.com. And when you're looking to enter into retirement, you're at the end of your 50s, your 60s are upon you, or retirement, maybe you've just even actually retired. Have you made the smart moves that are necessary to insulate you from any sort of crazy market downturn? I remember when I first started at the radio station, it was the beginning of 2009, and we were watching the stock market go kaput, and it was wild. And I know a lot of people who were dramatically impacted by that type of a hit, and they were really late in the game of saving for retirement. And the question was, can you recover from that? You want to make sure that you don't have to deal with that. And the Retirement Advisory Group can use that as a tool to guide you through making sure you don't have to deal with some sort of dramatic market downturn. You can call them at 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494, and ask them, set up a free appointment with them, and just listen to what they have to say. You'll be glad you did. You can hit them up online as well at retirementkey.com.
Hi, it's Mark Cox. If you're thinking about selling your home, I know you have a ton of questions. Fact is, selling your home in this real estate market isn't as easy as it used to be. Just look at the headlines. One small mistake can cost you thousands. So before you sell, take a few minutes and get to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, just like I have. She is St. Louis real estate expert. I've been telling you about Gloria for over 5 years now. She has written guarantees that'll give you certainty and the most money in today's uncertain market. And you're always in the driver's seat. You know exactly how much you'll make on the sale of your home from the very start. That's because Gloria will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or Gloria will buy it. Take it from me. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Again, that's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551. 800-656-1551.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is, what's the deal with all the plane crashes? Are they accidents, negligence, malfeasance, or are they Trump and Musk's fault? Those are your options. We'll get the results to this poll in about 10 minutes, 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Sorry, there's a coughing fit there a little bit. Before we go back on the air, I didn't anticipate that happening. So there was an X conversation that was taking place. And Matt Walsh doing Matt Walsh things, which is just like barging into the room and saying the most direct and obvious response to some sensitive situation, but just taking away any platitude and getting straight to the point, as Matt Walsh is apt to do. The New York Post had a story. An angry Texas bride had to struggle through her wedding vows after a disrespectful guest allowed his baby to bawl nonstop during her adults-only ceremony, as seen in a TikTok video with 3 million views. The crying baby definitely distracted me and left me feeling disrespected. It was supposed to be an adults-only ceremony, so we have a couple of things here. Have you ever can you recall, your kids are older. I have a 3-year-old, so I'm a little closer to this than you are. Your youngest is 6?
7.
7? Do you ever remember being in a public place where the kid just wouldn't stop crying? You had twins, too, so that would be even...
I think we just went out less because we had twins. So I don't remember us being in a situation... If we are in a situation where we think we could be bothering anybody, we just leave. We just do. I don't know if that's always the right move, but we err on the side of caution. And we did. I haven't had anymore, but back then we did.
Your child should not be a distraction to some sort of public event like that.
Church.
I mean, the only event that your child should be permitted to like scream and cry through is like their baptism, where they have to be there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another thing where,
even in stores and stuff, we just wouldn't put up with it.
Yeah. You just it's like it is your problem, but it doesn't need to be everyone else's problem. So to have a child in a wedding ceremony even making a peep, like, don't even give them crinkly bags to open and hold.
Don't give anybody crinkly bags.
That's what I'm going to give you the next time we go somewhere really important. I'm just going to give you like the most crinkly bag full of your favorite snacks and see you try to
hey, crinkly bag,
navigate that situation.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, I might think about that twice. Matt Walsh tweets, excluding children from a wedding is ridiculous and self-centered. It's incredibly bizarre to invite someone to your big celebration, but specifically tell them that their children aren't invited. Also, if your baby is crying during the ceremony, you need to take them out. Both of these things are true. Agree or disagree?
I disagree. Especially if they delineated ahead of time, this is adults only. You went against the rules of the ceremony and decided to make it about yourself. And look, if you can't go because you can't take you can't find a babysitter, then you can't go. That's okay. Nobody's going to fault you for that. But you chose to come anyway and grace everybody with your presence and then also ruin it for everybody.
Do you think that adult-only weddings are... I think there's like destination weddings. That's a different situation.
Yeah.
So let's set that aside. But if you're having... Is there a closeness to the family, to the bride or the groom, where you think it's wrong for them to exclude kids?
Yeah, I think for the most part, it's wrong is not the word I would use. It is not preferable to have an event like that and say no kids allowed. But when they do, you got to honor that.
I feel like if my children have a direct blood relationship with the bride or the groom, plus a relationship where my kids know your name and you know my kid's name and you have like a story or stories together. So I'm talking family and relationship, because those things aren't the same. I think it's good to include the kids. But if I'm being invited to a wedding and they don't even know my kids, like a coworker or something like that, I don't know why it would be like children should be included in this if they're part of your family at all.
Yeah, if it's not somebody that close to you, there's no way I'm bringing my kids. If the kids, exactly what you just defined, if the kids know the people getting married and they know them very well, that would be a situation to bring them.
Do you think that if it's a, like, what if it's your aunt or uncle that's getting married? So if you have a sibling, do you think that they should have the right to tell you that your children are not allowed to come to the wedding? If it's their wedding,
if it's
should
your
they
wedding,
have that right?
You have the right to put whatever parameters you want on it. This is your wedding. I don't have to like it, but that's your rules.
Do you have if they exclude your children from going, do you have the right to just not go if it's your sibling?
If you can't figure out how to make it happen, Yeah. They put that parameter up. If you can't figure out how to operate within it, then you don't have to go.
I think there's an interesting culture thing that's taking place around this conversation. And I would say first and foremost that the bride and groom get to have the say in who they want to include in their event. And every guest has a say in whether or not they choose to attend under the parameters set forth by the bride and the groom. I've seen some crazy stories. I kind of feel like bridezillas are out now. I don't feel like people are doing that as much as they used to. Maybe they are. I just don't know those people anymore. But if they want to set some whack circumstances and expectations for the people who they invite, I totally think you have the right to do that. And I totally have the right to go, not interested. I'm going to stay at home in my PJs and watch the Avengers or something instead. And I think that when it comes to your kids, you have that opportunity as well. It can be very expensive to go to a wedding. If you have to pay for a babysitter, that becomes very expensive as well. So if you want to ask me to come but leave my kids at home, if I can't facilitate it, maybe if I like you, I'll send a gift and that'll be done. What do you think, Brad?
I think it's a wedding invitation, not a wedding summons. So everybody has the right to be like, nah, I can't make it for whatever reason, for any reason or for no reason. I also think it's weird that people make all these weird demands and harsh demands whenever, to me, a wedding is a celebration and you're wanting people to come and take part in it, and it's not a performance. So, yeah, I think that people have the right to set it up however they want, and people have the right to not go if they don't want to go, if they don't like the setup, or for whatever reason.
Culturally, I just wish I wish we would get back to creating more experiences that included families. Mm-hmm. It's if when I advocate for one thing, I can hear the other side pushing back, and I'm like, oh, but I kind of agree with that too. Kids are going to be kids. I can only do so much with Molly. She's 3. She's, I think, a well-behaved 3-year-old, but she can turn into a brat in an instant. And when that happens, I have to parent her and remove her from the situation. My older kids, they're very well-behaved, and they can handle circumstances that require you to sit still. I think going to church is one of the best ways to teach kids how to be quiet, for the record. And I hope you find a church that doesn't look at your children wrong when they do act like kids. But when you eliminate kids from weddings, like, it's just those types of things where I wish kids were more included in that, because I want them to see these things. I want them to understand the establishment of the new family unit. I want them to see the people who would, and potentially if it's a family situation, be coming into their family, and that those relationships, like a family community relationship, would become more prioritized, and having everything have to be picture Pinterest perfect all of the time wouldn't be the ultimate priority.
I don't know if the days of the stodgy old church still exists somewhere. I've never been to one since I was a little kid, and maybe it was because I was a kid that I felt like it was stodgy. But man, we've gone so far the other way that we need people in churches sometimes to just set up parameters. People are so loath to discipline kids even nicely that this is a completely different conversation, but you just kicked it off in my head, that we need people who are actually willing to enforce rules with kids, like you said, because that is a good place for kids to learn that stuff.
They need to learn it. They need to be permitted the space to learn it, and parents need to be there to instill the responsibility that needs to be that needs to happen, because it's really hard when you're going through trying to keep your kid quiet. But if you just remove them all of the time from church, then they'll just learn that if I throw a fit, I can go play in the room where the toys are. And if your kid's not a dummy, they're going to figure that out real fast. We'll talk more about that throughout the course of the week. It's an interesting conversation. YouTube live chat poll, what's the deal with all the plane crashes? Ryan, your response to this poll?
It is accidents.
Brad?
I think it's negligence.
I'm hopeful accidents. That's a weird thing to say. Leaning potentially negligence. 5% of 245 votes think it's just Trump and Musk's fault. That one was for you guys.
5%.
Thank you for showing up and voting today, you 5%ers. I appreciate you. 6% say malfeasance. 38% say negligence, and 51% say the plane crashes are accidents. On the hands and knees, praying to God that these are not going to continue, and that we will get ahead of it and keep them from happening again, and thanking God that nobody died in this last one. Thank you for being here with us. The Mark Reardon Show is going to continue right here on 97.1 FM Talk and on your Odyssey app. Coming up next.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Does the state of this economy have your head spinning? Let GregHammons.com relieve one burden. health insurance. Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com specializes in under 65 health insurance plans that have zero copays and no deductibles. You choose your doctors and hospitals. These plans have nothing to do with your income and are 30 to 60% less than Obamacare. These are also available all year round to those that qualify. If you have a small business or you're paying for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employment coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com.